A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. Notes.
What's up, family? Welcome in to a little Fix AM and the PM special here on A2D Radio. We've been doing it pretty much every Wednesday for the last 2 months now, and we continue it tonight, and we shift the conversation a little bit. So we're shifting it, and we'll get into it in a minute. Every Wednesday, we're brought to you by our doc, Make Them Yours. It's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Tom Arnaud and Ryan Brodo, Ralph Del Vecchio, Greg Mwaglick, Frank Vespi, family out there joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we've been opening with a lot of football talk recently here on Wednesday night, and tonight we're going to shift it a little bit. But later on the show, we'll get into the dumbest thing of the week. We'll do Phillies over-under projections, 31.5. So you're going over, you're going under. Camp officially starts Friday in Major League Baseball. Obviously, some Phillies working out today at Citizens Bank Park, getting their swings in. Girardi there, so baseball right around the corner. We'll have
Harper at third.
Yeah, they wearing a Real Muto jersey. So, really pressing Matt Quintek to get that deal done, huh? Really pressing every way he can. Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott. We'll get in a little game around the NFL and see how many quarterbacks we'd rather have for the rest of their careers or for the future over them two, and see who comes out on top. And we settle it once and for all here. Just end it, right? Vince Carter. Done. So, you're done. But we're shifting tonight, and with basketball right around the corner, and news that the Sixers are COVID-free, and they're heading to Orlando, and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are ready to go. We're going to shift into some Sixers talk. Poll question brought to you by Ambuck Services, AMBUCK services.com. 20% off. Telling the boys from A2D Radio sent you for all your gutter installation, gutter guards, deck restoration anywhere outside your damn house. They got you covered. AmbuckServices.com is where you can find them. The poll question: the Sixers can win the East with a healthy Embiid and Simmons. Agree coming out of the East, which the only two teams ahead of you, I believe, are Milwaukee, and I think you're tied with Toronto. I believe. I'll look at it again as we continue. So to the poll question: the Sixers can win the East with a healthy Embiid and Simmons. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Get right into it. Why can't they? Why can't they? You have fresh legs. I'm talking about coming out of the East, Ralph. So calm down. Why can't they come out of the East? When you talk about Milwaukee, a team that was scorching hot, does a slow start bother them? But I still believe that I wanted to see, and I know a lot of people did, how this team would fare in the playoffs with what we thought we had early on in the year, which was a long defensive type basketball team that would in a half court game would slow you down, right? And can really put pressure on you in a half court game because of their length. That's really what we thought. Now, as the season went on and injuries happened, we didn't really get a chance to see it. And I thought we made two great additions down the stretch of going out and getting bench guys in Burks and Robinson to strengthen that a little bit. So I was excited on the direction we were going. Problem is we didn't know if we were getting Ben Simmons back. So we had a major issue going into last year's playoffs. I mean, last year's playoffs feels like last year throughout this process, but going into the playoffs, I mean, we didn't feel good about that, right? Our whole mood shifted with no Ben Simmons. Now we get a restart. We get to start it over. We get to go into the playoffs with a healthy Ben Simmons now. So I'm excited what this basketball team can do, and I'm going to say agree because we know how we can match up with Milwaukee. We know we can give Milwaukee fits because of our length. So I'm going to say I'm excited. Agree. Let's go. My two youngsters are coming to play, and hopefully I see the Crumb over there. Hopefully I see that Crumbs team in the finals, and we take them to the shed a little bit because we saw what happened here when they traveled over here. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty.
But then you came to LA and you got stomped though. You came to LA and you got stomped. But it's okay.
Yeah, how many people were missing?
That was like, it feels like it was 5 years ago, Tommy, to be completely honest.
and how many people were missing in that game. Yeah, it does feel like 5 years. But that's what I'm saying. Like, who are you scared of in the East? Milwaukee, okay, fair. I'll give people that. Outside of Milwaukee, who are you really scared of? You scared of Boston? I'm not scared of Boston. We played Boston well all year. So
but recently they've had our number. Recently they've taken us.
It's still
they've gotten back to us.
No,
pretty
fair.
good team though. Pretty good team though.
Fair. Like automatic out. Like there's no shot of us beating them is what I mean by scared, right? The Heat, I'm not scared of them. They're good, right? The Raptors, I'm not scared of them. So them 4 teams I'm not scared of. Are they good basketball teams? Yeah. But so are we. We should put some fear into some teams too. I mean, this is 2 legit potential superstar type players that in a closed environment right now could have a monster could have a monster little explosion through this little stretch. They could. Maybe we're seeing, Brett talked about today, Ben running off the ball. Maybe we're going to see some threes in Orlando, baby. We might see a couple threes in Orlando. Don't get your hopes up. But there's always a possibility because if he's going to run off the ball a little bit more.
So then who plays point guard if Ben's off the ball?
So shake and bake. Come on,
man. Come on, Rye.
Alec or shake, rattle, and roll.
Come on, guys.
As long as it's not Raul Neto, I'm good.
Oh,
Did you see him with his hops?
I don't need
him with his hops.
I don't give a damn about anything with his hops.
He was getting minutes over Trey Burke, and some of the Sixers fans were not happy about that.
Trey Burke.
Not happy about that.
Yeah, it's not even because of Trey Burke. It's because freaking Raul Neto stinks. Ralphie, I'll let you go before me. Agree or disagree with the poll, Mr. Lakers?
I'm gonna go. You know where I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna go disagree. I think the Bucks. I really like the Bucks in the East, and I also like the Celtics too. And I think the one team that might have a little trouble, getting restarted again is the Toronto Raptors, because before all this ended, man, they were cruising, man.
And Milwaukee wasn't.
Yeah, no, but Toronto won what they won like 16 out of 17 games before all this stuff happened, and they were cruising. So and with a hot team like that, can they do it again in a matter of 8 games? To me, that's going to be hard to do. So my 2 teams coming out of the East would be Boston or Milwaukee coming out of the East. And I got to go off of last year too, though, dude. Like you guys had Jimmy. Right, you swapped out Al. You just bring back. You had Jimmy last year, so I mean, it was almost like the same thing, right? You had a healthy Ben, you had a healthy Joel.
You
still didn't get out of the second round.
Nah, see, that's false.
Thing when you're young, though, it's not the same thing when your 2 superstars are under a certain age, and you know how that works in the NBA. So that's a false.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Ralph, during this hiatus, did you acquire some kind of friggin' amnesia? Like
no.
Joel Embiid was healthy last year in the playoffs. When was that?
He played though.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah, but he was on the Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God!
No, it wasn't even Chick-fil-A. He had the flu and he had the knee and he had the neck and he had the shoulder.
You sound like Tommy giving out excuses to Dak Prescott.
It's a reason. It's not an excuse.
I didn't give out any excuses right there. I just told you that they're young and it takes time for you guys. They got to get to the dance a couple times and get over some hurdles.
But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what. Going into the playoffs for the Sixers, in my honest opinion, the biggest spotlight is on Al Horford for you guys. The spotlight's all on him. Is on Al Horford.
You have to win now with him because he's not going to get better as he gets older. We already seen that.
What is he, Tommy? 32, 30?
He's 33. 33.
So, I mean, you essentially out of the contract year you got with him, you only have him for what? Almost two more years, essentially.
I think it was a 4-year deal.
Yes,
with a 4th-year option.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he'll be what, 36 before all that when all this stuff ends.
I'm saying you got to go open that he can get a real resurgence here because you got to hope that you can make a run with a guy like that. Hopefully his playoff experience can help this team throughout this weird experience too. But I think it plays well in our hands, the kind of like closed environment situation. Like, I think it plays well to us. I do. I think it plays well to a young team like us. Let
me ask you this.
Quicker.
Does it concern you a little bit that we all know how the Sixers are on the road, being away from Wells Fargo and not having that home feel? I mean, does that concern you a little bit?
To me, no. And I'm going to funnel that right into the poll because honestly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, not because I think the Sixers are like the friggin' Wizards. Like, Sixers are a good basketball team. They're very talented. But, before all this crazy stuff, literally the night all this got shut down, I mean, Tom and I, you and I were on the air. We were ranting about how disappointing the Sixers were, to where it seemed like they didn't even seem like they were an NBA basketball team with A, the injuries, B, we didn't know the status of Embiid and Simmons and, how we were going to integrate certain players. It seemed like our best player was friggin' Shake Milton, who we didn't even know was going to be playing this season. I do like their chances in this new revamped season, new revamped playoff, kind of session, whatever the hell you want to call it, because, everyone wants to talk about, they're going to be in a huge disadvantage because they're away from the Wells Fargo Center. They're not going to have the home court advantage per se. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter because, of course, I mean, obviously when you see the Sixers only had 2 losses all season at home, and then you flip it to them being on the road and seemed like they were closer to 2 wins instead of 2 losses total, there's no question they're a different basketball team at home. But I think something that nobody's really talking about is, and I'll just talk about in the playoffs, the last handful of season, not even talking about in the regular season. We've had to go up to the Boston Garden and obviously to Toronto, 2 locations, 2 arenas that we have struggled in mightily in the last handful of years. We've only won a handful of times in Toronto. We see the struggles there. Same thing with the Boston Garden. So I think while it is a bit of a disadvantage to where we won't have the rowdy fans in Philadelphia kind of supporting or getting on, let's say Embiid or Simmons or some of the players when they're going through tough struggles to kind of get them back into the groove of things, I think it does help that we don't have to go up to the locations like Toronto and Boston, for example, or even Miami. There's some of those locations where we have struggled. The other thing is, and I just want to put a narrative to bed. I've seen articles being wrote on, narratives over Twitter, and that is, maybe we should limit our expectations for the Sixers this year just because of all the, the hiatus and everything. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. The Sixers aren't the only team that went through a hiatus. The entire league's been affected. The entire league has had to adapt through all of this. And I look at, I agree, Ralph, that Al Horford is one of the most key guys under the microscope, but I'm going to talk about a guy who's not even playing. That's Brett Brown. To me, he's the guy that's under the most, the highest microscope. Because to me, you look at a reset. Sure, we could talk about how the players, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they've had a reset, some extra time to get healthy, get ready. We've talked about over the last 2 seasons, more so in this season, how Brett Brown talks about, he hasn't had time to fit all the pieces together. You see all these talent, but you don't know what to do with them. We've had 3 months. He's had 3 months where he sat at home on his couch. He knew that's all time. That's his time to figure out what to do. You haven't added any other players except for Ryan Broekhoff. He's not going to be a difference maker. You've known since day one of this hiatus what this roster is. You know what the improvements need to be. You know where things need to be fixed, et cetera, et cetera. We want to see, because we all know he's fighting for his job, if there is a way to where this thing still doesn't fit. Sure, we can blame Elton Brand because he's the one who signed the players. Brett Brown just bought another 3 months of time to A, save his job, and B, put these guys together. I think they're more talented than arguably anybody in the East. And the 2 teams that I think scare me the most, quote unquote, are Boston, which they don't have anybody to stop Embiid anymore. Horford's on our team. They have Daniel Tyson and friggin' Enes Kanter. So if Embiid is healthy, which by all accounts he is, he's working out 6 times a week, he's healthy, I'm not really worried about them. And Toronto, I'm worried about them for, like I said, going up to the arena, but that's not into play here. And then you hear Van Vliet, who's been killing us in the past. He doesn't necessarily want to play. So to me, I really, really, really like their chances for all of that.
This could save Brett Brown's job too.
Absolutely.
This little restart, reset, however you want to call it. This team with these 2 young, stars. It's everybody said, they, like Ralphie said, they play well at home, but they don't have to travel. They're not on the road. They're not in anybody else's environment. Nobody else is in their environment. This is just a pickup game, essentially. That becomes competitive as shit. You know what I mean? That's essentially what we're going to be watching here. And I think them 8 games, a lot of players to adjust, right, for there not to be an excuse anymore for any team. You have 8 games to adjust and get some things right and get ready for the playoffs. I mean, if you're not ready in 8 games, you weren't a good basketball team anyway. So I think every team is going to be right back to where they were after 8 games. They're going to have their feel back. They're going to have all that back after 8. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's any excuses either way after this year. I don't think there's an asterisk. I don't think there's any of that. If it was just, hey, we're right in the playoffs and you just have to start playing playoff atmosphere right away, it'd be a different story. But you get 8 games in this environment before you even have to consider, before you even can go into the playoffs. So, I mean, if you're, so everybody's going to get it right. They're going to get the kinks out in 8 games. And plus, you get all the practices now. So, I mean, the team's going to be ready to go. So, it's not like you're getting off the couch and hopping on a court. Like, it's not, nobody's doing that. The Lakers been working out at LeBron's house. So, it's not like teams are ready to go. So, I don't think there's any excuses. Same thing with baseball. Same thing with any of them. There's no excuses. Guys have been working. Guys are ready to go. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like they're picking up a baseball for the first time or picking up a basketball in the first time in 3 months. I mean, let's be real here. So to me, that the whole point is there's no excuse this year. And so when they do come out of the East, I don't want to hear no bullshit. Greg, agree or disagree with the poll question? The Sixers can win the East with LV, Embiid, and Simmons.
Can they? Yeah, absolutely. But will they? I don't have them winning the East. But you're absolutely right. They can. I am concerned about the being away from home. And yes, I get it. Everyone's away from home, but you're still not in your home, home arena, home bed and all that. Right. And I know it's for everybody, but the Sixers were just historically bad this year away from the Wells Fargo Center. So that's a bit concerning. I think you're absolutely right, Ralph, about Horford. He is the absolute key. He was the guy when we signed him. It was for the playoffs. Tom, you hit it on the head. We are waiting to see this team in the playoffs. But if I look at their schedule here, I had them going 5-3 in their 8 games. I had them going 5-3, and I don't know where that puts them. But I can they? Yes. Will they? I don't have them coming out. No.
Who do you have the 3 losses against? Because that also plays a role on where they're going to be seated.
Agreed. And again, like Ryan, you just said, and Don has alluded to. Oladipo might be out. Van Vliet might be out. Mm-hmm. This could all change because of guys potentially not being out. One of my losses was Toronto.
Okay.
But obviously they take a hit if Van Vliet's out because Van Vliet destroys our second team. Yep. I had the Spurs as a loss.
Mm-hmm. They don't have Aldridge, though. They don't have Aldridge.
They don't.
Okay, I didn't know that going into that.
Yeah, so, he had the season-ending shoulder surgery.
But then you could always flip that if Oladipo plays with Indianapolis. That's always a tough game with Indy.
Yeah, we always sit out.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He might sit out.
He might be
got the virus. Brogdon's got the virus too, or at least
of course he does.
Listen, I'm telling you.
And I got Houston as my other loss.
Up, Greg. It's all lining up. The stars are aligning right now,
and that's fine. And like I said, can they? Absolutely. I'm
trying to tell you, I'm a virtual parade down Broad Street. You can either.
I don't need a virtual. I'll be there.
You're not gonna be allowed to, so it's gonna be virtual.
I'll be there.
All right, then I'll be on your.
He'll just be walking down the street alone.
Singing, ooh, I did.
I'm not. That's the thing. To your point is that all these teams are going to be missing some players as of right now. The Sixers are like one of the few that are all good to go.
That is absolutely, mm-hmm. And that is a big plus. You're absolutely right.
For all sports coming back, right? COVID's now a hammy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
COVID injury's now a damn hammy when it comes to comparing to professional sports. 2 weeks sit down. Shit, any one of these guys gets a 2 week sit down. For any one of these teams, they're in a boatload of trouble. For any of them, anybody loses one of their star players in this process is in trouble. So you hope and you keep your fingers crossed that the Sixers can come out injury free through
the 8 games.
These 8 games and be ready to go by the playoffs because I'm excited and because my stars are still young. So I know what Ryan was saying earlier how we were down on them at that point, and we were, and rightfully so. Everybody was. But it didn't mean like the hope or the future was done with them. I wasn't done with Ben and Joe. You know what I mean? It was just some depression. Now Ben's hurt indefinitely at the time. It was a depressed moment. It was depressed. So, now I still believe that them two can win a championship together. I yelled and screamed that from as many videos as I could do, that them two can win a championship together, and stop trying to divide them like we divide this damn country up, right? Stop dividing my 2 stars. We don't want to divide stars. We want more of them. You know what I mean? We got to keep our stars together if we want to win. And if we can keep these two together, I'm promising you we're going to get one. Now, this year, I don't know, but it would be this year because we would be the team that wins it.
It's always something weird.
Where people want to throw asterisks around. You know what I mean? That would be the year we win.
Well, I mean, you look at history. At least the last 2 championships, Tom. I mean, when Philadelphia wins, there's always something weird. I mean, with the Phillies, to where it was the suspension game, there was 3 days in between.
Yeah, we get a back quarterback, beating Brady. Yeah. The list continues, and now we would get the Sixers come back on a restart and end up beating the Lakers, which would just be delightful, right, Ralphie? And beat the Lakers, and now we're having virtual parades, right? Like Zoom parades. That'd be cute. You know what I mean? Nobody's got time for that, but we still got time for a chip. Frank, agree or disagree? The Sixers can win the East with a healthy Embiid and Simmons. Family, let us know. Chime in.
I hope they can win the East. I mean, with 37, I pulled up a stat, 37 games with both Simmons and Embiid healthy on the court. They're 23-14. So a winning percentage right there. And for me, it's been like forever ago where we were predicting where the Sixers team will go. I had this team in the NBA Finals. So for me here, this reset is probably a very huge blessing in disguise for the Sixers. It's probably going to save Brett Brown's job. You have a healthy Simmons and Embiid and Josh Richardson as well, because he was hurt for a portion of the year. So for me, I was looking at the restart schedule. I have them going 6-2. And one of those wins will be against Indiana, of course, with the news regarding Victor Oladipo and Malcolm Brogdon also testing positive for the virus. That could really help our stock from not worrying about playing. Let me take a look at the current standings right now. If the playoffs start right now, we would be facing
tied for
Boston.
5th.
We're tied for 5th. So we could actually create some space into 5th and take on Miami in the opening round of the playoffs. So, and we have beaten Miami before the shutdown. So for me, I do agree. I hope this blessing really pays off. But if we don't, then it's going to be a very, very interesting offseason.
Yeah, now I think if the Sixers go to the Eastern Conference Finals, in this conversation, Brett Brown is back. Okay,
of course. I actually wrote it here. I have ECF or bust for the Sixers.
Yeah, it's all like, listen, when you talk about the young stars in the NBA, it's all about making progress, right? So 2 straight years you get knocked out in the second round, right? But you made progress from the first, second round exit essentially because of the way it ended. So it's all about that progression. So this year, if you can progress and get to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? I think he comes back. Now, if they don't, I think he's gone. It's that simple. There's no in the middle. If they don't get it done, no matter what situation they're in right now, it doesn't matter. If they don't get it done, he's not back. If they get it done, he's back. And if they do bring him back, I think this fan base is going to be up in arms, and rightfully so.
Well, I think, first off, I do agree with you, Tom. And you look at it this way, to where if they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, it would be that progression like you talked about. But talk about, and again, this is something that not a lot of people were thinking about. And we kind of talked about this, off air a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it was with you or it was on another show, where the Sixers, given where they were at the, right before the hiatus, to where they looked like they were on, a one-way track to barely making, almost looking like a guaranteed lock to get eliminated in the first round.
Yeah, there was a moment there. Absolutely.
So say, for example, Brett Brown and the Sixers. And again, Brett Brown's going to get some credit. And obviously, if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, guys like Embiid, Simmons, Horford, the players are going to get a lot of credit because it shows they turned it around. Looking from where they were headed before, obviously, the last time we saw these guys on the court, till now, to where if they turn it into an Eastern Conference championship berth, look at the progression just in 3 months, let alone talking about the last 2 seasons, to where they're looking like they're going to take a step back.
It comes down to health. Yeah. This wasn't a healthy team. And you talk about all the injuries this team. It's not an excuse. They just want a healthy team. You got to be healthy to win in this league. You know what I mean?
Listening to
you put a roster together, and it has to work out and be healthy for it to work. If you're banged up and guys are all out all the time, then it's hard to win in any league.
I was listening to an interview this morning. They had Ala Abdenabi on, And Al Abdenabi was saying that he believes that because we obviously saw Josh Richardson, to your point, Tom, he was one of those players who he'd come in and he played really well, and then boom, injury. He'd come back, have a slow week, then he'd start getting rolling again, and then boom, another injury. We saw that about 3-4 times. Al Abdenabi believed that as soon as he hit that first injury, early in the season, every time back he was never fully healthy. He wasn't even close to where we saw, even through those peaks where Josh actually figured it out, he wasn't even close to being 100%. So as much as we talk about Ben and Joel to where they could have really used this time, look at a guy like Josh Richardson. He had numerous nagging injuries with the hamstring, and I think it was the elbow. I mean, there's a couple of things.
I think it was a hammy twice too. And so important defensively. I was up jumping around in the studio, Gracie a million times. We're palmsy, we're hands up type of basketball team. It's going to translate in the playoffs. Well, yeah, but not without a healthy Ben Simmons and Josh Richardson out on my perimeter. I mean, like Ben Simmons can cover any guard in this league and can switch on anybody.
He's one of the best defenders in the league. Yeah,
he's the first team all defensive guy. Without him in the playoffs, you're not the same damn team. Okay, without Josh Richardson, to me, who's a damn good defender, right, and a dog type guy. Without them two, how the hell are we going to sit here and say this team can win in the postseason, even with Joel Embiid? No, they can't. No, they can't. They need Joe, Ben healthy, and these supporting guys to be healthy around them, and that's what this restart allows. And hopefully, it can continue when it gets rolling here, and this team can make a legitimate run.
But doesn't that concern you as a Sixers fan, knowing that Josh Richardson is like that, though, to where
he gets hurt?
That he plays a handful of games, gets hurt, comes back, plays for a handful of games, gets hurt again. Come on, man. Does that not concern you about Josh Richardson?
For 1 year,
he's never really been injured.
Come on, man.
You're jackass. That's not his MO, Ralph.
I'm not saying that it's not his MO, but all year he's been
You just said it.
You just MO'd
him.
You just MO'd him.
You just MO'd him. Did me and Greg miss something here? You just said, how's it make you feel when a guy like Josh Richardson is always banged up? Always banged up for 1 year, Ralph. What are you talking about? Well,
He's been banged up this whole year.
Hey, Ralph. Let me ask you this.
What's up, buddy?
Are we tied up to Josh Richardson for a long time? Are we worried about this? We're talking about this in a little confined season, right?
I want to be tied up to Josh Richardson more than
Yeah, but Tommy keeps on saying,
how can you
need a Josh Richardson and a Ben Simmons on that perimeter defense, though?
All right, I'll turn it to you.
I'll turn it to you. Josh Richardson, though, about him staying healthy for these 8 games and including playoffs, though.
Yeah, because he had the
whole year. I understand that.
It's a restart, Ralph. How many days you been sitting up in that damn room? 100+ goddamn days. So how many days has Mr. Richardson been able to rest? Okay, and
3
get
months, baby.
the hand me right.
Hey. So has number 23 out there in LA.
I'll turn it to you. Because I was going to LA. You worried about Anthony Davis's MO? Bad fingernail out for a week?
Can't play the playoffs.
He plays through injuries.
Are you kidding me?
He plays through injuries.
He has a bad friggin' fingernail when he's out for 2.
No.
Soft, Ralph.
And he's still one of the best power forwards in the game.
Not saying we're not talking about talent. We're just saying a little
talking about MO.
No one questioned that.
Ben plays.
I'm fine with AD.
He still can't win the playoffs.
Because I know he's a tough son of a gun. He'll push through it through the injuries. Let's go.
I believe
Chicago.
Yusuf, I believe the Clippers come out of the West. I believe.
Of course.
I think they're a better basketball team. I think they're deeper. I truly believe they're deeper. Not a shot. They're deeper. They match up. Everything matches up, and they're damn deeper. So how am I not going to take them? And the better coach. So how am I not going to take them?
They do take a dip though if Lou Will decides he's not coming. But you know what I mean? Just they do take a dip.
Down. Yes, you're right. Shut up,
Ralph. I mean,
you're right.
I'm still never going to pick the Lakers. I'll pick the COVID Nuggets over the Lakers.
I'll pick a chance. Jokic getting back over.
Jokic can't even get back over. It's pretty. It's crazy. You can't even get back over.
We have a lot of great questions.
Funny. You almost said funny there for a second. You almost went funny. So let's read off here.
So Don leads us off. There's a lot of great questions in here. He says, who's more dangerous, the Raptors or the Celtics?
Celtics.
I got the Celtics.
See, I would say Celtics, just because they have more talent and they have the better coach. But I still think, again, I think the Sixers match up better against them. Just because they don't have any
match up better against.
Yes, but as a whole, the Celtics are a better team.
Yes.
I do agree with that. Let's see here. This is a great question. Yusuf, if Brett Brown gets fired after the season, who do you want to replace him?
I don't even know, nor do I care.
Good question.
Yusuf, I love you. I don't care right now.
Ralph Delavecchio.
Kenny Atkinson or Patrick Ewing?
I don't even care. I'm not even there.
Just not Mark Jackson.
Whenever that bridge is
Speaking of
crossed,
Mark Jackson, what do you guys think about Mark Jackson coming to Philly?
that would be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, I'm out.
I can't be talking head coaches right now when it's about the reason.
I don't want to talk about it either.
Let's talk about head coaches.
No, why the hell do I want to talk about head coaches?
Second round.
You don't even have a head coach. Your head coach plays.
Hey,
And he's also the
I'm
general
fine with
manager
that.
and the owner.
I'm
So
fine with that.
You would be.
This is all right. Another great question. What's going on with Zaire Smith? He's a bust.
Just another injury-prone guy for the Sixers. Nothing new.
I think you have to be considered to be good to be a bust. You know what I mean? You have to be considered good from Jump Street. It wasn't like it was a high pick, even though it was a first-round pick. First-round pick in the NBA after a certain point.
I mean, Mikal Bridges is playing for Phoenix, by the way.
I just don't care enough. That pick wasn't going to make or break this franchise anyway. You know,
Could have been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Could have been a lot of guys. But you can do that in every draft. You know what I mean? You can do that in every single draft. You know, would you rather have Matisse Thybulle or would you rather have Carson Edwards right now? I think everybody would say they'd rather have Matisse Thybulle, right? And at the time, half this goddamn fan base was how we not get Carson Edwards? You know what I mean? So you can always look back and you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss. You know what I mean? And this one was a miss strictly because the kid can't catch a break from a peanut allergy to every time he's back on the court he's banged up, and it's just one of them guys. And guess what? He wasn't gonna make or break this franchise moving forward. So the guy couldn't shoot either. So what did he do? Everybody falls in love because the guy can jump. The whole league can jump.
the guy can jump, and he boosted up his draft stock during the tournament where Texas Tech made it to the finals.
Yeah, and that's fine. I liked Zaire. I wasn't mad about the pick or anything. I just don't. Them guys like that aren't going to make or break what we're trying to do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when you constantly miss on those mid-first rounders, because you're absolutely right.
I'm not saying
After a certain point, but from a salary cap and a kind of keeping the things rolling from you have to hit on a couple of them.
No shit. That's what I just said. You just hit on one this year. So you missed on one, but you just hit on one this year, in my opinion, in Thybulle. So yeah, you got to be like 50% with it to continue to build out and be good at it. I'm just saying you're gonna miss picks. Just don't miss picks 1, 2, or 3. You understand? You just can't miss in the top 5. You miss in the top 5, you're gonna stink forever, right? But once in a while, 50% of the time, I think you can miss in the mid round, first round picks, and then sometimes you hit a second round guy. You know what I mean? That come in and actually is a contributor to your roster. It works all around in the NBA, in my opinion.
But was not to make a whole thing about Zaire Smith, but wasn't that the 10th pick? I mean, I don't know if that was a mid-round pick. I mean, that was a 10th pick.
Bridges was 10th or 11th or something.
Yeah, so I mean,
but in the NBA, to me, that's not a game-changing pick. It's not. The draft wasn't deep, in my opinion, to begin with, and it wasn't it wasn't a game-changing. It's not a game-changing pick. Should you hit it? Yeah, you should hit it. But then also you should be missing the Thybulle pick. You know what I mean? So if you look at it both ways, Elton Brand to me needs to do a better job. My point is that if you look at it and swap it essentially and say, okay, well, I missed on 10 because the guy's injured all the time, but I hit on Thybulle, which is later. You know what I mean? I sort of made up for it. Because if you said you took Matisse at 10 and you saw how he played this year, you'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm good with it. Compared to what you got out of Zaire, you know what I mean? I think we would say we'd be okay with it. I just don't think you're getting superstars at 10 most of the time. You got to get lucky. Like the names you said before, Oklahoma City got lucky. That's a good pick. You know what I mean? But sometimes you got to be lucky with some of them picks still, where they can come in and a guy actually on the court and he can be one of the guys from Jump Street too. You know what I mean? I'm not making an excuse for it. You can't miss missing all the time on that. But also, to me, really in that top 5-6 is where it makes or breaks your franchise for 5 years at least. You know what I mean? If you're missing those picks.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. My only point is the reason why I keep going back to how, the missed opportunities. We always talk about how, up until, and we can still argue it, I guess, not really because we have Burks and Robinson, but before we were talking about who's that next guy because Mike Scott is a 0. Ennis is gone. Thibault, yeah, that's good, but that was in another draft. You're looking at it to where, say, for example, that was Bridges or Gilgas or Miles Bridges, for example. Or so many, DiVincenzo, for example. I mean, DiVincenzo, he's a starter on Milwaukee. He's a starter on the best team in the East. So you're looking at all those guys to where we're always talking about if we were one player away during the regular season, a guy that could have that difference as far as defense or just score. We turn that into, I'm not saying we could have got a guy that, could equate to a top 5 pick or a starter, just a guy who's at least on the friggin' roster. I mean, we look at a guy, he was a healthy scratch. And a G League, D League, whatever that thing's called.
That's why I don't even know why we're talking about him still. Because
it's a missed opportunity. That's why.
Okay, but he's been irrelevant for 2 years. So it's not like he just came up on the radar as irrelevant. He's been irrelevant from day one. This is the peanut allergy, and he wasn't on the court. He became irrelevant until he played to me. Until he played. So it's not like it just popped up like, oh shit, like man, not having Zaire kills us. We've never had him. No, the point is, could there have been better players you drafted? Obviously, because when some guy doesn't play, everybody who plays is better. Anybody who played in that draft is better than him because they actually have played. That's it's a missed pick, and it's more missed because of injuries than I can say because Alton Brand swung and missed in terms of talent because we don't know. He never played. You know what I'm saying? He never played. And that's how I look at it. From day one, he had a setback. From day one, he had a setback. So, to me, it's like I would love to blame Alton for the pick. If I saw a guy playing, he stunk. He's never played. That's what sucks about it. And yeah, I mean, you could add other guys and made this roster deeper. But, then you also could have missed on Thibault the following year or last year. You know what I mean? You could have missed on that pick again. So I'll give him credit for, in my opinion, taking a good player there who I like. So, you just got to hope the next time if you do get up in that spot again, you're not swinging and missing. Because you're right, Greg. You can't swing and miss, right? You're right there. I mean, you can't be swinging and missing all time at 10. I'm not making an excuse for it. Guy just never freaking played. So it's like, I don't even know he was any good. I was the Elton. That's a terrible pick. He never played. It was Peanut, and then whatever the hell else. I haven't kept after the Peanut.
It might not be fair, but I would say it was never going to be a good pick because the pick never made sense anyway because we needed shooting and defense, and we got a guy who couldn't shoot and couldn't play defense. Yep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why, like, the Bridges thing, like, okay, that's a guy who can shoot and play defense. Like, you know what I'm saying? We traded for a guy. And I get it.
Like the exact opposite.
And hindsight 2020, we got him because he was supposed to be a piece for the Kawhi Leonard trade. Remember?
And you needed every dollar you could, so you were able to sell him.
Yes.
You were able to sell Bridges plus money.
So that's why, like, it even hurts even more because it turns out we didn't even draft the kid because we thought he was good. We drafted him because we knew San Antonio at 15 or whatever pick they had, they liked him. So we took him and be like, oh, okay, you want this? Give us Kawhi. So it's like it backfired like 3 times on us.
I think people are missing my point right now. What I'm saying is most of the time, you're not getting game changers or franchise changers like 10 and back most of the time. There's the exceptions. There's the Kobe out of high school. There's Giannis. I get the exception. Okay? But most of the time, your guy who takes your franchise to the next level or them 1 through 5 guys. You got to hit them guys. Now, it doesn't mean you hit later and nail some guys. Absolutely. But looking back on it, obviously it was a bad pick, and I can live in the past, or I can say, guess what? The guy never even seen the court, so who gives a rat's ass at this point? How do we get better? Because anybody we name is better that played 5 minutes. That's what that's how bad of a pick it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't get past the G League with a bench that wasn't good. You understand? So it's not like our bench was deep, and he couldn't make and he couldn't play up at the NBA level. Our bench stunk. You know what I mean? Our bench stunk until we added Robinson and Burks. There was nobody on our bench. It was atrocious. Our second unit.
And then Brett's coming out the next week. Oh, I really don't know how to use Robinson. Robinson's like, why'd you trade for me? Why did you trade for me? I'm just sitting here.
Well, yeah, you heard that for 2 weeks.
I know how to use them. You play them.
Exactly. Let him friggin' play. He'll figure it out. Let's see here.
Yeah, Britt does work for the Sixers. Use that.
Yeah, she was heartbroken.
But again, not a game changer though. Either the Bridges aren't game changers. They're good though. They're better than Shamet. That's the whole point. And I mean, not Shamet.
Smith.
Zaire.
Let's see. Don says, what's the expectation for the rookie Matisse Thybulle in the playoffs?
I just think to be a stopper defensively.
Yeah.
A guy who obviously can run the court. Has to work on his all around offensive game, right? But I think he can. I think he can get better there. I think he's the perfect guy who is that guy you bring in to you start matching up against that team's best winger down the road. Not this year,
Yeah.
but in the future. I think it's like your Kobe stopper, like a Ruben Patterson type that can flat out defense.
Jay says, what's up with Ryan Brokoff? I mean, I don't think he's going to play. I think he's there as an emergency guy, possible shooter. Say, for example, he gets hot. Brett said it this morning. He says, I told Ryan Brokoff, straight off the get that, he's going to have limited opportunities here. Even went as far to say he was surprised Brokoff even signed here, which I don't know why he would say that. But no, he's a guy to where Brett likes to talk.
I love it.
Likes to say no, but I think he's here. Say, for example, if a Furkan gets hurt, Furkan's one of our, go-to.
Oh, you can't forget about him. Yeah, you can't forget about him.
No one forgot about him.
Won you a couple games this year.
Listen, I'm a believer in him now, and that says a lot because I was a hater of him. Big-time hater of him. But no, he's there as an emergency option if the injury bug comes up. But I don't think he's going to have, especially when you talk about, and this is one of the questions I had for you guys and, especially the people at home. So Brett comes out, and again, I don't know why Brett would say this today. He said that he's planning on having 9 guys in the rotation in the playoffs. So we know 6 are guarantees. We know it's Horford. We know it's going to be, obviously the 4. You have Shake, who's projected to be in the starting 5, and Horford coming off the bench. So that's 6. Going around the room, and then obviously in the comments, who do you guys want or think the next 3 guys are going to be? And if you think it's going to get pushed to 10, who's the 4th?
It's Alex Burks. That's definitely 1. It's Kirk. It's Furkan. That's definitely 2. And then it's probably a combination of whether it's Mike Scott, Glenn Robinson, whatever is needed at that point. And, if you need a big, then it's Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, I'm right with you.
Yeah, same here.
I think you're definitely going to see Furkan. You're definitely going to see Burks. I would think you're going to see. I would think you're going to get a little Thybulle. I would assume in different situations. You might even see him over Mike Scott at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mike Scott before
he doesn't do anything well. He's
horrendous. You can't run away from it, Tommy. Mike Scott was horrendous.
Oh, he was. Did you say Milton?
Milton's already. Milton's already in the 6.
Yeah, then it's probably going to be Robinson then. It's not probably, it is. I mean, you're going to get more production from Robinson. You're going to get out of Mike Scott. You get more production out of Thybulle than you got to get out of Scott. There's actually he seems like the role, he fits the role better. You know what I mean? In my opinion. So, I look at it like that. So, we're right on the same page, Greg, on who.
Yeah. I just think it'll end up being matchups for that 9th guy or whether he goes 10 to include it. You know what I mean? You're right. Thybulle can guard 1 through 3, but if you need another bigger than, then maybe you go Mike Scott.
Yeah. See, I think to be honest, I think if it's 9, I don't think like you said, Tom and Greg, Thibault in certain situations, yes, but you're looking at what's the biggest weakness coming off the bench or just weakness in general for the Sixers. It's shooting. I know Thibault can win. He'll make an occasional 3. He'll give that in limited options. Obviously, he'll give instant energy on defense. The fast play, counterattack, but with Josh Richardson healthy, I don't know that the biggest necessity is more defense because in the playoffs, Ben Simmons, top NBA, one of the best defenders in the league, he's going to be on the court a lot. Embiid, Horford, Richardson, Tobias, while he's not a great defender, he's improved tremendously on defense. So it's not like, I know somebody asked us about JJ Redick, who we'll get to in a second, but it's not like we have JJ Redick who plays 0 defense and he's a liability on defense to where you're looking at Burks, you're looking at Robinson, you're looking at Furkan as your first 3, and then maybe Thibault if you go to the 10th. Obviously, if Richardson's banged up, then you're going to see some more Thibault. Maybe you see them switch a little bit. But you need Furkan, you need Rob. It's almost like not to diminish the value.
Them three are the guys, and they're veterans.
Yeah,
they've played more games. It's just common sense over a rookie. You know what I mean? You're not going to throw a rookie in them spots unless you have to. Unless he's unless he's just too good not to. You know what I mean? But no, I mean them 3 are guys you need. You need to score in different spots. You're going to probably run them out there just for defense purposes, depending on how the game is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think it depends on situations, too.
Prism says, who do the Sixers miss more, JJ or TJ? I mean, it's JJ. I almost said TJ.
JJ,
yeah, it's JJ. Let's see. Gavin says Mike Scott was terrible this season.
Yes,
was. I'd argue he's one of the worst. And I get it. Mike Scott Hive, great, very popular in the city. I might make an argument he was one of the worst players in the NBA this year. And it sucks because we brought him back to be our go-to 6th man. Not even just a bench piece. He was supposed to be our go-to 6-man shooter off the bench. No, I don't know. I mean, he might have made 10 threes all season. Let's see.
Scott, right?
Yeah, I mean, horrendous. And I like Mike Scott. I mean, I'm not trying to take a shot at the guy, but I mean, I can't. I could sit here for 20 minutes and not confidently tell you one thing he does well. He can't defend.
But he did. That's the problem. Like last year, we were coming in this year.
Yeah.
We have Mike Scott. We have Ennis. Our bench isn't bad. We both underperformed.
Yeah.
So.
Yusuf says, will you guys miss JJ Redick in the playoffs?
No, because he didn't defend and he didn't hit big shots. So.
Yep. Undersized, no defense, and he was streaky on shooting.
Probably get more looking than you do JJ in the playoffs.
And here's the thing, and again, I appreciate what Redick did for us, but he wasn't necessarily a real big clutch shooter. I mean, how many times did he have a wide open 3?
Shots in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he didn't have any big shots in the playoffs in his time here. Nope. Unless I totally missed one. It was like I need you on this one. Need you hit this one. Like I don't remember hitting any big shots, and then being a gigantic liability on defense. I mean, teams was purposely getting in the pick and roll to expose him.
I was throwing my remote at the screen every time he played defense. I wanted to look the other way. It was hideous.
So I wasn't upset with him leaving, because I think Furkan filled that role of a guy who showed you he can hit the 3 ball enough. Something we struggled with, and Burks and Robinson can shoot the 3 enough. So I think, that gives you depth. Shake showed you can shoot the 3. So I think you have some more guys out there that can stretch the court a little bit more. I'm excited about it. I know the Sixers and a lot of their beat writers had a Zoom call with Brett Brown today. And Brett talking about Ben running off the ball, Shake running a little bit of point. And, I like it. I like it. And it's going to force – and he's finally putting Ben in a situation where it's like, you know what, if you're running off the ball – you got to be able to be an offensive threat then still. You know what I mean? And I think it sort of forces him in a position to have to grow as a player, right? We talked about that for a while. Like, when's Brett going to force Ben, right, to be in uncomfortable situations, right? Well, this is the first time that I've heard him actually say, hey, we're going to run him off the ball. You've seen him off the ball a couple times, but you never heard him publicly say, yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll give Shake a little run of point. We'll give Burks a little run of point because they do have 2 other point guards, essentially. Doesn't mean Ben's not going to handle the ball in transition or never see the ball because that's who he is. He needs to. in my opinion. I want Ben Simmons' hand on my basketball. Just an FYI for the people. As soon as he develops a jumper, we could come playing off the ball. Maybe that will allow him to become even a better point guard. Because I think he has the making to be one of the better point guards. If he can just shoot it a little bit, one of the better guards we've ever seen because of his size and athleticism and the things he can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, moving him off the ball actually accentuates what he already does good, right? We know he can get to the rim, but now he's coming off of a ball screen. Now he's coming off of a one-on-one on a wing as opposed to right in the middle of the floor where he can now use his ball handling and his creativity to get to the rim, even without having a jumper. So I think it's even more.
How about rebounding too, Greg?
Well, absolutely. Because you don't have to worry. You're absolutely right. Because you don't have to worry about then coming back for the ball. You can just grab and go.
Well,
also, but yeah, coming off the wing, off the ball, I think he's going to accentuate what he already does great, and that's being able to get to the hoop whenever he wants.
Also, think about who else.
I meant offensive rebound. Sorry, I meant offensive rebound.
Oh, even so.
Playing off the ball. You saw a little bit of that when he did play off the ball. You have Ben and Joe now, down low boarded. I mean, that's shit. Good luck.
Also, who does that help the most, too? Think about it. It helps Embiid. It's spacing. It helps Embiid.
Yeah, because if Shea can shoot and you actually are going to respect the pick and roll with Shake and Josh Richardson, because you got to respect Josh Richardson to shoot a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Right. So, and vice versa with Shake. So now it just spreads you out a little bit more. And now it opens up two things, right? It opens up Ben and Joe down low. So it's a combo. You know what I'm saying? It's a combo effect where you're really creating space for two big men down there, not just one. And Al, when Al plays at certain times, right? Because if guys can shoot it around, now you can actually play Horford where he belongs to play, not the 3 damn point line. That's the biggest critique we all had of Brett Brown this year. Stop letting Horford shoot threes, okay? He shot threes last year in Boston, never missed. Now he comes here, can't make a three. Stop letting him shoot three.
See, I'm almost wondering, and again, in the playoffs, we're not going to see a lot of this because you're going to see the main guys play, close to 35-plus minutes a game. So there's not going to be a lot of interchanging parts. But just based off of these 4 players, when you talk about Shake obviously running the point with Embiid, helps spacing. We all know Al, when he actually is playing the 5, it's very, very good. And when it's Ben and playing with Horford, that actually really works as well. So you look at it as possible. Maybe Brett Brown's thinking, okay, those are the 2 quote unquote like combo pieces, matchups they're thinking about to where, maybe when Ben's running the point, maybe there's going to be a lot of Al Horford playing center in that spot. You know what I'm saying? When they're talking about spacing it out and timing it, Jake Milton running the point when Embiid is playing the 5.
Yeah, I would still run out them as my starting 5 though. Like to Gavin's point, I would still run out Ben, Richardson, Tobias, Horford, and Joe. I'm running them out as my starting 5.
Yeah, I think that would be your starting 5 going.
Until they prove to me that they're not.
I don't think Big Al's coming off the bench for you guys to. That's too much money coming off the bench.
He shouldn't come off the bench. Listen, when they all played together at the beginning of the year, they were lights out together early on. So let's see if they can find that.
Well, you guys started 5-0, right? You guys started 5-0 with all of them starting out at the same time, correct?
Yep. So let's see if they can do it. This is what. Listen to me. This is why you put these 5 together. The game changes in the postseason. It becomes slower basketball.
It slows down.
So you put these 5 together for a reason, and that's to defend teams. Right? And can you flat out defend in the playoffs? You've seen what Toronto did with it. When you can flat out defend in the postseason, you're going to win games.
Yeah.
You're going to win games. So that's what I think they're going to start with. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be every time. They're going to see how it works over these 8 games. But I believe if that chemistry comes back a little bit with them 5 guys, I think that's the direction they go in the playoffs and shakes your first guy off the bench because you're going to start your best players.
Ralph, the one thing I disagree with.
Listen, you have to in these games because listen, boys, whether you like it or not, these 8 games they're not throwaway games, man. They're not. Nope. You can't throw away these 8 games at all. No. So you have to start your best 5. I just don't see Al Horford coming off the bench in the future for the Sixers.
Here's where I disagree, Ralph.
It's the future, but not now.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Not now. You're not bringing Al Horford's not coming off the bench.
Ralph, the one thing I disagree with, the money thing, and 2, the argument's not Shake Milton's playing more minutes than Al Horford, because you look at it. I mean, the Clippers, they're not starting their best five. Lou Williams is coming off the bench, but he's playing more minutes. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't really matter. The matters is who's playing more minutes. Nobody's going to argue, at least in here, that Al Horford's playing more minutes than Shake Milton. There's no question about it. My point is, we see it in certain matchups, the way you get the game rolling as far as pacing and everything, to where the Sixers wouldn't be the only team that wouldn't be, quote unquote, not starting their best five guys. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm trying to say that, Al Horford's only playing 15 to 20 minutes, then yeah, absolutely. That's outlandish, because you're not paying all that money for 15, 20 minutes. My point is, just because he's not on the court for the first 6 minutes in the first quarter, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, but I understand that though, right? But in these 8 games, you can't try to get cute though.
It's not getting cute. It's what's working.
These aren't throwaway games anymore, man.
How's it not thrown away? If Al Horford,
neither was the first 50.
Yeah, I mean,
neither was the first 70 games that we just played.
If Al Horford's playing
where he ended up on the bench.
No. In the regular season, Greg, in 82 games, you could throw some games away, dude. You can throw some games away.
Yeah, we threw every road game away.
We saw.
Yeah,
Ralph, my point is, if Shake Milton, okay, Ralph, if Shake Milton is on the court for the first 6 minutes, but
Absolutely.
At game's end, you look at the minutes, combined, and you see, okay, Shake Milton's on the court for 22, and Al's on there for 32. What the hell's the point? What's the difference? That's 10 more minutes of court time. So what if he's not on for the first 6 minutes? It doesn't matter.
So who's if that is the route you're going, who's your starting five though? For the first 8 games if Al Horford's coming off the bench.
It's what I said. Shake would be, you would have Tobias where Horford's playing, quote unquote. You would slide them all over.
So you would have Tobias at the 4.
Yeah.
Where's Shake playing?
3.
Ben's at the 3.
1.
Oh, Ben's at the 1.
Yeah.
And then
Shake's
Shake
at the
I guess,
1.
Yeah, you would have Shake at the 1, I'm guessing.
So then Ben plays the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he's coming off ball, yeah.
What's difficult about this?
No, I'm just
And as we all know, Tobias is a better 4 than a 3.
he is.
We've seen it. I mean, you saw the last 10, 15 games where he had to do that by default because of the injuries. He was arguably the best player. He had a week where he was going 25, 25, 25, 30, 32. It's because he was playing his natural position. So if you're doing that and you have the quote-unquote better, I want to say, chemistry for the first 6 minutes, and to Tom's point from earlier, it provides better spacing. You can have the pick and roll with Shake in there. You have Ben playing a little off ball, a little bit easier for Embiid, obviously, before he comes off.
yeah.
Because here's the thing,
Ralph
Ralph.
says that Ben Simmons is going to play off ball, but how? I mean, are you really going to see that though? Are you really going to see?
If the coach is saying it, I mean, again, I don't. I mean,
don't see it. He's saying we're going to see it.
Brett Brown says a lot of things, fellas. We all know this.
Doesn't mean all the time. When he said that, doesn't mean that's going to be a starting 5 where he runs him off the ball. It just might be the second unit when he plays Shake. He's going to run him off the ball. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If you really read between the lines, it doesn't mean, hey, Shake's going to start. It just means, hey, we're going to run Ben off the ball more when guys like Shake are in the game. That's all I think.
Ralphie, I'll compare. Ralphie, I'll compare
the guy
it
that can't shoot the ball. Hold on. So the guy that can't shoot the ball so far is going to run off ball, Tommy.
He's ran off the ball before in his
Come
life.
on, man. He doesn't shoot.
The ball's
though.
not going through him. You have Embiid when he's
I
doing that. The ball's
understand
going
that,
through Embiid.
But for a guy that doesn't shoot the ball in general,
Not going to be off the ball. He's not going to
you
be
miss
off the ball.
He's just going to stand on the corner and stand on top of the key and do nothing.
He's
You
been
missed
off
the last couple of minutes.
Come on, man.
The offense doesn't have to run through him. He's not the only superstar.
I understand that.
No, I don't think you do. No, I don't think you do.
I know. I do.
No, you don't. We just went over how being off the ball, even though he doesn't shoot, can accentuate his game because
And
he
it's
can
gonna
get to the
help
hole.
everyone. It's going to
We
help.
just
It's going to help
talking-
Joel.
He's coming off the screens, but
Doesn't shoot
you
the
were
ball,
la
so we're
la
gonna do
land.
ball.
I'll be right back. Pissed.
Yeah,
But he does shoot the ball.
No,
He does shoot the ball.
You got to force him to shoot the ball, Ralph.
He's not. You got an OnlyFans now. He's got to keep the fans staying subscribed to the OnlyFans.
Ralph, he played at LSU off the ball. He's played before in his career off the ball. It's not like something he's never done in his life.
Dude,
Okay.
I understand that before dude hasn't shot the ball in the NBA yet.
So
How
you
does that work?
accelerate the process.
You guys been saying process.
Well, let me ask you this, Ralphie. Since you want to talk about the last year's playoffs with Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong. In the last 4 minutes, who was playing off ball, Jimmy Butler or Ben Simmons? I'll wait.
Say, Ben Simmons.
Jimmy Butler had the ball, right?
Yeah, because he was the best player at that time.
Okay, so who's the best player? So right now, for limited
his
roles, not the entire game, for limited plays, which is what Brett Brown is talking about, where instead of the ball going through Ben Simmons, it would go through Joel Embiid. What's the problem?
But yet again, you saw that in the past, though, and it didn't get you anywhere, though, dude.
What are you talking about?
You already saw that in the past. We're playing off ball. You just said it with Jimmy Butler. It didn't get you anywhere, dude. You
just said 2 seconds ago that he doesn't do it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You just said he doesn't do it. So now he does it?
Who?
You said you.
Ben Simmons off the ball is going to, back then and now, is going to absolutely fold. It is. Showed it last year. He was coming off the ball. Just stand there.
Greg, is there static coming from my microphone?
If there's a guy that doesn't shoot the ball off ball makes no sense. No sense. Doesn't even shoot.
When you want to accelerate the process, Ralph,
you go take a piss, please.
You try to run him off the ball. Okay? When you feel like you have a lot more talent at the guard position than other positions, you try to run him off the ball, right?
Okay, but I understand that,
I don't think you do, because you're running in circles.
There's no shooting with Ben Simmons.
So you try to accelerate the fucking process.
Oh my God.
So you surround him with other guys that can shoot the ball. Shake,
so
Josh
Ben
Richardson,
Simmons,
Tobias Harris.
He's just going to stand there like a statue and do nothing when he's off ball.
He does it anyway in the final 5 minutes of every game.
For as much as a basketball fan as you are, I'm shocked that you don't realize the concept of coming off the ball.
Ralph,
he just doesn't just stand there. He can come off his screens. He can cut to the basket. He can go ISO off.
For everybody else, it works. For Ben Simmons, for a guy that doesn't shoot, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work, right? You saw last year going off for Ryan's point with Jimmy Butler. He's just standing there.
Oh, don't go off of my point. Don't use my point to accelerate you. Don't you do that.
Jimmy Butler also had 3 consecutive 24-second shot clock violations
with
the ball in his hand.
That's on Jimmy. That's on Jimmy.
Matthew Spills.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what. Jimmy's playing good basketball in Miami.
Yeah, one and done. They're done. If he's playing off the ball as a focal point of this offense, he will have his own opportunities to put himself into the most comfortable positions to get his own shots. Now,
his own shots. Hold on,
Ralph.
A dude that doesn't shoot the ball to start with.
Matthew is speaking, Ralph. Matthew is speaking.
I don't care.
Person, just see if he shoots. I'm saying he does it, and Ralph eats crow. # eat it, Ralph.
I mean, the dude shoot the ball, 2 times this year? An actual jump shot?
Also, Ralph,
and he still averages 20 points a game. So what do you want? They all count the same, right? They all count the same, right?
It's different, though.
Is it?
It is.
Coming off the ball allows you to get to the hole even easier.
It's different.
And he can do that at will anyway.
Dude, doing a jump shot, doing a layup has a higher percentage than doing a jump shot, Greg.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why I'd rather have him get to the hole than shoot a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
How's he going to do that, Greg?
Do you not see how fast and strong he is?
Oh, my God.
So you're telling me
he can get to the basket whenever he wants.
Now
being off the ball.
No, I don't disagree with that.
I think you do. Off of principle, you do.
You've disagreed with the last 10 minutes that we've been saying the same thing.
Ralph, so are you saying that every point he's ever scored in his career has been a layup?
Has either been a layup or a dunk.
And and all of them have been when he has the ball the entire play, right?
Yeah,
none of them have been off of a pass or a screen.
Probably a handful of them here and there.
Also, the other thing,
playing off the ball doesn't benefit him at all, right?
No,
it doesn't. Though. It doesn't. How does that benefit him?
Ralph, we'll agree to disagree, Ralph.
We sat here for multiple years saying that Ben Simmons is a dominant player with the ball in his hands. Right?
Ralph, the other question I have for you, which is I think even more preposterous, is your obsession with who's starting. You see on your own team, freaking JaVale McGee is starting. He doesn't finish the games, Ralph. So
Hey, you watch how you talk about my boy JaVale. He's a process guy.
I wanted him here. I wanted him and Bol. Okay, so
shut up, Ralph.
You of all teams, of all fans of teams, you should know it doesn't matter who starts the game.
Andre Iguodala won an NBA Finals MVP coming off the bench because they started Zaza Pachulia or whoever the freak they wanted, Andrew Bogut, whoever.
One of those guys.
Fred VanVleet almost put Curry in a retirement last season, and he came off the bench.
Steph should have had 3, but that's for a different day.
Death taxes and Lou Williams get buckets comes off the bench.
Yeah, 28 minutes for a 6-man.
That's what Ryan said earlier. But again, you were sleeping during all that, and weren't paying attention.
Contract is going to guarantee Al Horford has to be in for the first 4 minutes.
But you're starting your best 5, though, dude.
Why does Al Horford have to be the best 5 just because he's the highest paid?
Because I guarantee you right now, I don't know if
you paid him all that money. You paid him all that money to be one of your best 5s, Greg.
But he's not. I'm telling you
right now. It didn't turn out that way.
You paid him $190 million. That's telling him that he's one of your best 5. You're not going to start him now?
What about what he does on the court? And what he does on the court's not going to determine if he's the best player?
You guys sat here for multiple weeks too throughout the season saying he was being used wrong. He was
he's a center. He's a center coming off the bench. He's a center. Yeah. Well, if he was starting, you're yamming me.
So now you come off the bench, and when Joel goes to the bench, and you come off the bench because you're not starting, and you play the 5 position when Joel's on the bench. That's not using him properly?
Ralph, the only way they use him properly if he's coming off the bench is the 6th man to play the 5. When Joe takes his 6 minutes and he always starts the games and then he takes off for the first 6 minutes. That's what he does.
Yep.
That's his career. That's every game ever. He plays for the first 6, then he leaves until the very beginning of the second quarter.
Kind of like LeBron. He stays in Cleveland a couple times, then he just leaves whenever he wants, and then he starts crying. And
no, Yusuf, he didn't have an aneurysm. I'm about to, though. I'm about to.
Yeah. I'm here all night.
I am.
Yeah.
Exactly, Prism. Exactly. Let's see. James Young says, instead of Ben Simmons learning how to shoot from beyond the arc, what about the rest of the team? What, as far as value?
Good question, James. Good question.
Oh, and one more thing, Ralph, not to break the news to anybody. On the Sixers, again, you can think it's a hot topic or a hot take. It's not. On the Sixers currently constructed, Shake Milton's a better player than Al Horford. Just telling you. The way they're using them, just telling you. Shake Milton's a better player. Just telling you. Am I wrong?
I'm not going to get into this. I'm not.
So James, what are you talking? The rest of the team doesn't shoot very well, or I'm trying to understand his question here.
I think chemistry. I don't know.
I think we shoot. I think we shoot pretty decently. We are about right around the league average in 3-point shooting as a team. Shake helps that.
Thank you, Jay.
Corky hates that. I would agree. I would like to see more consistency from Harris, but I think from a pure statistical standpoint, his numbers are there, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't really have much issues with the rest of the team, and I don't even really want Ben shooting threes. I agree in a sense that I want him the threat of shooting a jump shot or a 3, but if he's off the ball, he doesn't need it because he can still get to the hole regardless because there's going to be more space for him to work.
I think we can agree.
Ralphie doesn't understand that.
I think we can agree.
He's a Lakers fan, so he's going to be blind to that.
With Tobias, I think we can all agree the biggest criticism of Tobias, like we were kind of talking about with JJ Redick, he's had so many opportunities to have the game-changing shot. Well, I'm not even talking about buzzer beater. I'm talking about with 4 minutes left to go in the fourth. Well, you know what I'm saying?
And also a couple buzzer beaters.
Oh, yeah. Well, like wide open buzzer beaters. Wide open buzzer beaters. Like wide open.
Like that one, like the two in Miami in one game. He had the dunk that he missed. And then even after all that, in overtime, we worked for that wide open shot in the corner, and he just bricked it.
And again, I'm not even directly talking about that. I'm talking about with 3.5 minutes to go to, a key three to put them up 9, for example. You know what I mean? To force a team into a timeout on the road. Just something very simple.
Yep. No, John, I agree with you, John.
Yeah. Let's see. Yusuf says, do you guys believe Toronto can come out of the East? I think they can because of how they played without Kawhi. I do. If honestly, gun to my head, they're my pick to come out of the East. Honestly. But that's with Van Vliet. If Van Vliet doesn't play because he doesn't want to play, then they're done. Done.
They're tough because their second team isn't as good without Van Vliet running that offense.
I just love them because they have leadership there. Their coach, because as much as we talk
Nick
about
Nurse
talent,
is great. Yeah,
they have a great head coach. I think he's right up there with Brad Stevens. And I'm not just saying that because they won the title. I've always been a Nick Nurse guy. And leadership. You have who are the two big guys? No. Well, no, I'm not.
Gasol and Ibaka.
Ibaka. I almost said Siakam. Ibaka and Gasol. They're veterans. They're leaders. You know what I'm talking about? To where, Ibaka's not going to bring you a ton of production on the court, but as far as experience, keeping the younger guys together, and Siakam's, he's a special player.
And Ibaka can shoot it. And Ibaka, for being that old still, too, he can shoot a little bit still.
No, he sure can. You get that open shot. But here's the flip side to that. Does the slim down Gasol, does that change his game? Because a lot of his game when he was obviously a big old moose was a lot of the power, and then he was able to step away. Does he lose a lot of that power in that low post game because now he's a twig? And he decided to work out during COVID instead of like me and eat everything during COVID.
The power that he'll lose, he'll gain in speed and what's the correct word? Endurance. Because it's going to be a sprint.
I wonder, though, because one of my issues with Toronto is what Gasol has always done to Joel. But a lot of what Gasol has done to Joel was just more wear him down because there was someone Joel's pure size with him or even bigger, right? So a lot of Joel's fatigue around Toronto came because Gasol was just a monster and laid on him in the low post. Kind of like when you watch fighting, the guys are laying on each other and just making them work even more. So I wonder about that dichotomy too. Like, what does the slim down Gasol, does that give Joel an easier time?
It's all
than usual. What?
It's. This comes down to every conversation. It's about what kind of shape Joel was in. I like and I'm excited. I'm intrigued by the news that he's in the best shape of his career and he's training 6 times a week. But again, we've heard this story before. Yep. We hear this every time he comes back. So I hope that this is true. But unfortunately, and I love Joel, this is just something that we continuously hear. And after a while, kind of like with the Ben Simmons workout shooting videos, I'm like, okay, how many times are you going to show me that Ben Simmons making a 3-pointer? How many times are you going to tell me Joel's off the Chick-fil-A and he's completely healthy? Because that can change within a week. And that's just the way it is. So if Joel's kind of the good old Joel to where he's not in tip-top shape, then where I think Joel gains some power on a Gasol is going to gain as far as running up and down the court, playing, 5 times in 6 days, for example. It's going to be a sprint. It's going to be boom, 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 boom. So in a way, it helps Joel that it's kind of a short, tight-knit season or session or playoff series, whatever you want to call it, because you don't have to worry about Joel lasting a full-length season. But also, this is always in the back of people's heads of Joel. Their game plan usually is not to play them back-to-backs. They never own up to it. But a lot of these, they're not going to be back-to-backs, but a lot of these are going to be sprints.
Yep, and you can't say anybody. No rest days, bro. Right. No rest days. I know
that Kawhi.
I know some games for some teams they actually play like.
You hear that, LeBron?
LeBron don't do no load management. Come on, bro. You think Kawhi does load management, Greg?
Are you high?
I wasn't denying the Kawhi.
Are you denying the Kawhi?
No.
Oh, okay. I misheard you. I thought you were saying he doesn't do. I was about to fall
No,
off.
he
the
was.
chair.
He was.
You said LeBron, and I said LeBron
He was
doesn't do
denying.
that.
He was denying LeBron.
No, he load
LeBron
managed
doesn't
when
do
he had the
that.
groin injury for the first season in LA. But no,
Yeah, first real injury in 17 years. Man,
He load manages when the game's over. He just walks off the court.
Yeah.
Mike
Huh?
Clark says hello.
Hello.
Hi.
at least you don't
Hi,
cry.
Ty. I'm Frank. Nice to meet you.
No deny on the Kawhi. Let's see. Matthew Swill says Gasol can't go against JoJo now. He's got him by 80 pounds now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I just don't know if that's a good thing that Joel's got somebody by 80 pounds. It might be the flip side, but I hear it. But it's the same thing with and Jesus. I mean, he's projected to play, but
Jesus
is playing?
no.
Did we get Jesus?
No, I would love
We can get him out of Rome and he can
the Eagles got Philly Jesus, so if Philly Jesus wants to become a Sixers fan, that's fine. That worked for us in 2017. But no, Jokic, because Jokic is another guy who lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know. They don't even know if they're able to get him back.
No, I mean they're done anyway. I don't.
Yeah, but that fits Jokic's game better though, right? Because Jokic is,
What, that he's overweight?
No, that he slimmed down.
Yeah, because he could play more on the outside.
Because he's more that finesse 5 anyway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll go down low, but he's more that he'd rather be that guy outside dishing and shooting. So I think that kind of benefits him more. Where it's going to hurt is he was a very good rebounder.
Yeah.
For them, and I think that's where you might see that.
So I'll ask you guys.
I agree, Rome. I like that.
I do agree as well.
Yeah.
For you guys, give me a dark horse team. It could be either if you want to do one for the East, one for the West, go ahead. But a sleeper team to win the finals, not get to the finals, win the finals.
Win the finals.
And Ralphie, the Lakers don't count for this exercise.
Neither do the Sixers. All right?
No, they don't. I mean, they are 6th seed, so I mean they could qualify.
No.
If you want,
so say this again. So say this again, Ryan.
a
Say it again,
sleeper
buddy.
team, one in the East, one in the West, or if you just want to give one, that you believe is a sleeper team to win the NBA Finals. And Fam and Home chime in, one for each. If you want, just to give you guys some time, I'll go first. I'll start. I kind of say I'll do one of each. I'll do it real easy. I kind of said my two in the East. It's Toronto. If Van Vliet plays
For a sleeper team to win the championship, though.
Yeah, because absolutely, you don't consider them a sleeper. Everyone's talking about how it's going to be Milwaukee and then everybody else.
I mean,
I wouldn't consider the Raptors a sleeper.
No.
I would. I mean, they're a defending champion without their guy.
I mean, you can't. I mean, if you're really looking at the Eastern Conference right now, right? I mean, your top 6 are like at the beginning of it. You could say that all 6 teams right now in the standings have an opportunity to win the championship, and then you look at 7. You have Brooklyn, KD, and Kyrie are not even playing.
Brooklyn's not going to make an
got the virus, so he might not even play. DeAndre Jordan's not even playing.
Yeah,
no, so might not even go.
And Washington. They're out of the picture,
Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Orlando. As much as you want to say, Orlando ain't sniffing nothing.
Wait,
No
Ralph, did you say the top 6 in both?
No, top 6 in the East.
I disagree. Yeah. Indiana has no prayer.
Yeah, Indiana. I'm not buying. Orlando.
If Oladipo can come back. If they both play, they might have a shot too. Because they're two good players though, dude.
I see. Even if they are playing, they're not winning anything.
No,
because they've shown that when Oladipo and Brogdon were playing, they were healthy. They can't play together. That was their main thing. They can't. Oladipo struggled because Brogdon was getting a majority of the attention. No,
is there really a sleeper team in the East though? Like, outside of the top 8? I mean, the Wizards, they're 24.
And they're not going to have David Bertans back, so I'm not factoring the Wizards at all. So it's basically the top 6.
The Nets aren't one. The Nets aren't one.
It's the Celtics and Toronto. It's the Celtics and Toronto.
It's like
If you go by the odds, right? You got the Lakers at plus 240, Bucks plus 250, Clippers at plus 333. And then is a huge jump. Rockets 1,200, Boston 2,000. Raptors.
What's the Mavericks?
2,200. Mavericks are 4,000.
Oh, don't bet them, Ralphie. You can put your money
No.
much better places.
I just wanted to see where they were on Vegas.
I'm just telling you right now, Indiana Pacers fans and Miami Heat fans, you have zero chance to win the NBA Finals. You can clip this. If they happen, you can friggin' rip me to shreds. They are not winning the NBA Finals. There's not. And I'm just telling you. And the only reason why I think they're quote-unquote dark horses, Ralph, the Toronto and Boston, it's because 99% of the country has the Milwaukee Bucks as a shoe-in to win the title. Or at least
if you're plus 2,200, you're essentially a dark horse, or you're a long shot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but Milwaukee does have every right to be named that going around the country. I mean, they're 53-12 right now. 53-12, best team.
Yeah, I think they're the Nuggets East.
2,200 was the Raptors, not the Bucks, by the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Ralphie, I think the Milwaukee Bucks are the Denver Nuggets East. Great regular season team. They'll win some series, but
and then you look at the Western Conference, and it's like, I mean, how many times? I mean, the Rockets have almost been to the finals, but then Harden completely crashes, right?
Harden crashes.
Westbrook, is. We already know the story on Westbrook when it comes to playoffs.
And of course, they traded away Clint Capella before the
and they're playing 5 small.
Yeah, they're playing 5 small.
Time, you're gonna, no matter what,
right?
That point shit's gonna go out the window when playoff time comes.
Let me ask you guys this. In the past, why did Harden and Westbrook crash?
Well, are you like saying the Thunder?
I'm saying on their respective teams, why did Harden crash on the Rockets every year in the playoffs, and why did Westbrook crash and burn on the Oklahoma City Thunder? Why?
Well, one of them is because
the defense. The defense picks up in the playoffs.
Well, yes, but that's not the biggest reason.
Mike D'Antonio can't coach in the playoffs. The running gun doesn't work in the playoffs.
Running gun don't work.
Also a solid reason, but no, you're missing the 2 biggest reasons.
They both shot their teams out in the foot in the playoffs as too. Go watch the Trailblazers game when they got eliminated last year. I want to go see who shot them out of that game.
The 2 biggest reasons why they've crashed and burned, those 2 players, Harden and Westbrook, respectively, over the last handful of years. Harden and Westbrook, they go 1,000,000 miles an hour in the regular season, and they are worn out. They are worn out. They are done because Westbrook goes 1,000,000 miles an hour, and Harden, he's completely shot himself out of the building, and he doesn't play any defense. And the second reason is because while they've been burnt out, Oklahoma City in the past handful of years, without Durant, they needed Westbrook to be the guy, the main scorer. Same thing for Harden. Now they have each other. You have a 3-month layoff to where this is a new season. They're not burnt out. It's a fresh start. I do agree, and it's a hideous game plan by that organization to just get rid of anybody who can guard Anthony Davis, because if they run into the Lakers, they can't guard Anthony Davis. Because if you put, say, for example, Covington or somebody like that on Davis, you have nobody to guard LeBron. You have a handful of guys, but not for what?
They start Eric Gordon at the 5.
I know.
Yeah.
So if they run into the Lakers, they're not winning.
When it comes to playoff time, they're going to get stomped. Come on, man. Like, you can't, like, regular season, you can get away with it a little bit, but once playoff time comes and you try that cute shit, you're going to get in trouble.
So I like them because there's a lot of factors that help Harden and Westbrook for the reasons I just said, but I will say 100% of the time, if they have to run into the Lakers, which odds are, if you're getting to the finals, you're going to have to see the Lakers unless the Lakers really screw up and they get bounced. They're not winning that series. But I like them against the Clippers. I like them against a lot of these teams.
I don't like them against anybody in the way the playoff game goes. Like maybe in the regular season you can pull that shit off.
Absolutely.
But like, listen, man. Like, I don't like them going against anybody with anybody over 6'10", right? Because at the end of the day, if you can't rebound, you're going to lose games. If you don't get second chance opportunities, you're going to lose games. They're so important, and especially in playoffs, slow down basketball a little bit. You know, the whole West is big. You know, so like they might have a matchup where they can win in the first round. They're just not getting past the big boys. That's the whole point. Like they're not getting past, like you said, the Lakers. They're not getting past the Clippers. You know, and I could probably make a case for a couple other teams that I don't think
the top 5 teams in the West above the Rockets all have top-notch power forwards or a power set or a center on their team, right? Because you have the Lakers with Anthony Davis, then you have Montrezl Harrell, who's a dog for the Clippers.
Yep.
Okay, whether if you like him or don't, and then you have Jokic for the Nuggets. You have Rudy Gobert if he does play for the Jazz, and then for the Thunder you have Steven Adams. Grabs rebounds.
Yeah, like I think they can beat a team like Oklahoma City. Like I think they can beat some of them teams. They're just not getting past the big.
Yeah, they're not touching the Lakers. No,
they're not even coming close to beating the Clippers. They're not good enough. Yeah. Like people are saying, like BJ Tucker.
I just don't understand the theory in that of trading away Clint Capella and then not having a big guy.
They want to try to outrun you.
I understand that, but when the playoffs come, it's a different story though.
Well, they're trying to change the game. They're trying to think that they can pull it off in the playoffs.
Their stance is also Clint Capella kind of disappeared in the playoffs. I agree, Ralphie. I think the whole philosophy is stupid because if they still had Capella and they had these guys, then I think they'd have a real shot because then they do have the opportunity to defend. Like right now, I agree. And they need to be on with the one thing that they're built to do.
They have a chance with Clinton. They do in this situation.
Yeah, and the thing that with the Rockets saying that Clint Capella disappeared in the playoffs, dude. Did you not see him last year in the playoffs when Chris Paul and stuff? He was dominating the Warriors. They couldn't stop him. If Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, I hate to say it, if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, the Rockets should go to the finals.
Yeah,
they win the finals. Yeah, they win the finals.
Just
that whole thing that Clint Capella disappears and stuff like that, it's just stupid. Just plain stupid.
Yeah, well, like I said, they try to change the game. They're ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
You get in trouble when that happens.
And they'll get
in trouble when you try to do that stuff.
Yep.
It's Daryl Morey and D'Antoni saying, okay, we've had it go one way for so many years and it didn't work. Let's try and reinvent the wheel and catch the NBA off guard by this new philosophy. But I think we would all agree with it. It actually does the opposite. When a guy like Anthony Davis, just one player, I'm not even talking about Jokic and Harrell and so many other guys, and Steven Adams to a lesser degree, when they're in your conference and they're going to be in your way, it's counterintuitive. It doesn't make any sense.
It's counterintuitive because the whole league, guys 6'9" or over, 6'10" or over, are athletic as shit. So it's not like you're going against 6'11". It's not like you have 6'11", 7-footers that aren't athletic like they were in the back in the day per se, where you think you can like have all these advantages. I mean, most of these fours you're going up against are legitimate athletes, and
Russell Westbrook's not getting 22 rebounds a game.
No. And the other side of it too is
snagging 15 rebounds in the playoffs for the Rockets. The theory is just done. I'm sorry to cut you off, Craig, but go right ahead, buddy.
No, you're fine because you're feeding into what I was going to say. It's when you try and change the way the game's being played, you need all-time greats to do that, right? The Warriors kind of did that, but they had all-time greats. You know what I mean? They had the likes of Durant, Steph. You know, Clay is a great shooter in a sense of they were able to change the way the game was played because they had all-time greats allowing them as shooters to do that, right?
But they but on that team, they also had that center that could go grab you boards.
No, you're absolutely right.
No matter what.
But to that point though is the Rockets don't have anybody that's an all-time great at anything.
Yeah. no, you're absolutely right.
So it's like you're trying to change the game.
They got an all-time great volume shooter.
Yeah. And that's it. But it's only one. It's not three.
Hey, Andy.
Thoughts, Ralph? I think that's going to you.
This guy's back.
I love it, Andy.
Tom, who would you have as your dark horse team to win the NBA Finals, either in the East or West?
I found mine, by the way. I have it.
I mean, I wouldn't say dark horse, but maybe in the West, maybe the Nuggets can sneak up if you're not talking about Clippers or Lakers. Nuggets maybe in the East. Maybe a team like the Celtics. I don't know if it's a dark horse, but not Milwaukee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that. It was all top of my head. That's why I'll go.
Yeah, I agree with the Celtics. I do. Greg?
I'm going pure dark horse here. In the West, the Pelicans.
I like it. I like it. I like
Pelicans.
it.
And a lot of it, and I'm not a huge Zion guy, but a lot of it has to do with this is a sprint now. You don't have to worry about loading him or like his load management. So you can just let him go be the athletic monster that he is. And Brandon Ingram has turned into an absolute scorer.
I miss him.
Yeah, he's Kevin Durant light. He's Kevin Durant light.
And in the playoffs, if he's hot and he's rolling, he can carry a squad. And they have other good pieces around him. I'm not saying it's just them two, but there's other pieces around them.
Real quick.
One of their best players, and he plays point guard.
I'm going to change the Celtics. I don't know why I went with the Celtics thinking like the Sixers were like, a team you expect and not a dark horse. I'm staying home with it. I don't know what I was doing. I'm staying right at home with it.
Well, according to Ralph, the Sixers aren't a dark horse.
Okay, then either are the Celtics or either are the top 14.
That's what I said. I mean,
Who am I going to take? Orlando, Ralph? I'm not doing that.
That's what I said.
That's not a dark horse. That's a stupid pick.
Orlando's not a dark horse at all.
That's a stupid pick. That's not a dark horse. That's called wasted money, Ralph. That's called wasted money.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's like going, it's like going to Vegas and throwing around.
Ralph, the point of betting on a team is to actually think they're going to win.
He doesn't bet though, so he's good.
No, neither do I. But I mean,
and by the way,
I could point myself in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Real quick, going back on the Pelicans thing. I mean, they gave them the easiest schedule in the world. I mean, they won Zion in the playoffs. I mean, go look at that schedule.
You nervous, Ralphie? They'd go against your Lakers.
Bro, you know where this is being played at? Worldwide leader of bullshit. This has been played. They live for this shit.
Oh my god! Yeah, go look at that schedule whenever you get downtime in your life or something like that. It's a cakewalk schedule.
What's that?
The Pelicans.
No. I was talking about downtime.
You have no idea what downtime is, do you? You're an issue.
Don Dunson, who is the most underrated player in the bubble playoffs?
Most underrated player
on all the teams? Jeez.
Ben Simmons.
I know what Greg's going to say.
He's going to go Zion.
No, he's going to go first time Korkmaz.
Corky. I do love you some Corky.
I know you do. That's actually a great question.
The most underrated player in bubble playoffs. Underrated.
I'm going to say Ben Simmons because he gets some heat and doesn't get the value I think that he brings to the table. And I think this postseason, I think he can really, really set a tone.
And he is coming in off an injury.
Yeah, really set a tone. Same with Joel Embiid. Even though they might not be, sleepers or whatever the question exactly was, I still think that they're under the radar guys because nobody thinks the Sixers are going to win it all or anything. So them two could very well get on the radar real quick. I mean, this was a team that was in disarray before it ended, with all the injuries and everything. You can get back on the radar real quick as a top player in this league with a run in you for any team that doesn't have LeBron. Anybody doesn't know LeBron or Kawhi or Giannis, and they make a run. They're the underdog guys. Everybody besides that is an underdog essentially. So any of them make a run, they can really make a name for themselves. It's good for a lot of teams. You know what I mean? And a lot of good players out there that can really that guy's a legit star. Like the Tatums of the world, who all the talents there. So I'm saying all these guys. That's why I'm going to go and Embiid and Simmons because I got the Sixers coming out of the East. So I'm going to say that's them two got to be the reason.
Yeah, sure.
Ralph,
I like.
Go ahead, Greg.
I like Aaron Gordon too. Tom, I know we talked about it on Sunday, 2 weeks ago when we were doing our drafts and stuff like that. He was a guy that was, we all talked about. he's starting to blossom into more than just a dunker, right? His game's starting to evolve into more of a pure NBA player or purer. And so I really think same thing. They're going to be in the playoffs because they're probably about that 8 seed anyway. So I would like to see what happens with Aaron Gordon.
Ralphie?
I'm gonna go Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, you're very close to where I'm at. All right. We're thinking the same thing.
For OKC, he doesn't get that much love. He's a great player.
He doesn't, but I don't see them making a run, so it's hard.
See, I'm gonna go same team because I think they can win a round, and also I'm just gonna go the entire season because I was one of the people, and I think a lot of people around the league and NBA fans expect this team to just hit the tank, including this player. I'm going to go Chris Paul.
My favorite point guard, Chris Paul.
Because, Ralph, to your point, going back to, obviously, the Rockets, you could talk about if he stayed healthy, that was the big – he would have moved the needle from them getting eliminated to arguably having a real good shot to win the championship the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Nobody expected the Oklahoma City Thunder to be anything close to a feasible team, let alone in the playoffs.
Yeah, we thought the Thunder was going to be a rebuild team.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely a huge surprise this season, and I do have the Thunder as my dark horse. I originally thought the Rockets, but then I'm like, you know what? Let's go with the Thunder.
Yeah, good pick, Frank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the Thunder is a good pick. Nobody really expected them. Totally thought rebound. They did well drafting. They did well rebuilding on the fly, and they are a good little basketball team, and they can win around, no question about it. And it's just the West, when you start getting to the big dogs, it gets hard. Mm-hmm. So that's where I think they're gonna run up against it and run short. But definitely a good basketball team.
Prism says Porzingis is the biggest dark horse in the playoffs. He gets back to his streak of 25 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and 2+ blocks a game. He's going to scare teams.
He could, but are they good enough to scare teams?
No.
Right now they're 7th in the East with 40 wins. So.
West.
They're
whatever. West, East.
Come on.
They're not going to scare anybody.
They're not there yet. They're not there yet.
I hear you though. I hear what he's saying. That's a good young basketball team. They're just too young to really win yet.
Yeah.
They got to have that experience. Luka's never been in the playoffs yet. I think it's important for these young guys that feel it first before they go on a run. That's why I don't think Oklahoma City has a run in them. There's too many young guys. It's hard. It's hard to do, and especially in a situation like this. So that's the only reason. If you haven't been there and haven't really experienced it, it's tough.
I'm going to change mine. I'm going to go from Chris Paul. I'm 1A, 1B. I'm going to go Drew Holiday.
That's a good one. That's a good
because
one.
You can.
They gotta make it though first. They gotta make it.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't put him in. But
Drew's always a sleeper, right? His whole career's been sleeping.
Yeah, he absolutely has. Yeah,
and it's crazy because some can argue he's the third best player on that team behind Ingram and Zion. I think he's closer to the best player just because of experience. Just because Ingram, he's very good, and he's going to end up being a better player than Holiday. Hell, he might end up being a better player than Zion. I don't know, just because of health, but. No one talks about Holiday. How many times have we said, trade deadline season for the Sixers? Oh my God, give everything for Holiday.
Talk about him enough. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Spot on, brother.
Yeah, I hated him going away. We understood the whole reason why he had to, but I hated losing him and letting him go away.
Yep.
Why do you think we've talked about him and nauseam bringing him back here? Which
absolutely,
which wears me thin. You know what I mean? You move on. I'm not a big fan of the returns. LeBron can return wherever the hell he wants to, but outside of that, I'm not. Most guys just don't come and go. So
and on the flip side, I'll just add the most underrated loss. I would say somebody who's not going to play, and I think it hurts the team. I'm going to go Bojan Bogdanovic for the Jazz.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That tremendously hurts them. That really hurts them.
A team that I don't really like that much as many people do anyway.
Agree.
When you take off even some more talent, I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because they're one of those teams in a short sprint could be a sleeper team because they do have talent in places, right? So they could. they could be a sleeper team, but you're right. When you start chipping guys off at key spots that do key things, it makes it tough.
You're in trouble. That ain't easy.
So now they're going to have to fly because they brought in Jordan Clarkson at the deadline to be a really solid piece. I want him for the Sixers coming off the bench, but now he's going to have to start. And then you look at obviously Conley, Mitchell. There's going to be more pressure on them. And then Conley, I mean, he flat out stunk for the beginning. He was coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm. So, J.R. Smith is an underrated name too. I know people are going to laugh at it, but it's an underrated name. He always plays well with LeBron. He strokes with LeBron. Big reason Cleveland won that finals was because of J.R. Smith in that fourth quarter of that game. So it's a guy LeBron trusts.
Strokes LeBron.
Well, he strokes LeBron, and that's fine. But LeBron always gets him a payday, don't he? He always gets him a job. So, I mean, stroke away. But the fact of the matter is they needed somebody to stretch the court a little bit more. They weren't getting it really from Kuzma enough. They needed that guy. I think it's a really important upgrade, even though I hate the Lakers.
Yeah.
Mike Parker says Pelicans Sixers finals, book it.
I would love it.
That might be the most entertaining finals out of any option.
Ralphie wouldn't be on for years after that.
Let's see what those odds are.
That's a cakewalk for the Sixers. Come on, guys. You're sweeping the Pelicans in the finals. Come on, guys.
See, I disagree.
Not they get there.
If the Pelicans go from a team who's 10th in the West to the NBA Finals, they're playing some good basketball, Ralph.
You're sweeping them, dude.
I appreciate the compliment, but I can't even say that.
So that they are plus 60,000 for that matchup.
Yeah,
no, Parker.
That matchup.
You know what Parker's betting?
No shot. Yeah, Spidey already put it in.
Sweeping the Pelicans if you guys play them in the finals this year.
I would put money on the Sixers to win at the win at plus 2,000. I would put that. I would put money on that one. I think that's a good bet.
Tommy, you're sweeping the Pelicans, aren't you, in the finals?
25 wins you $15K.
25.
Come on. You can't lie to yourself, dude.
What, Ralph? Did I think you might go 5 or 6? How would I lie to myself? Because I just believe if they get there, they're obviously playing good basketball.
That's an easy sweep, dude.
Oh, you're a mess. If they get there, they beat the big boys in the West.
You're going to be a basket case when they come in and sweep the Lakers.
Don't say that.
See, I know what he's doing. I know exactly. You're saying that we're going to sweep the Pelicans because deep down, you don't want to see the Pelicans in the first round.
He doesn't want to see his stepbrother Lonzo.
He's got too many kids on that team.
Exactly. It's a conflict of interest.
It is a conflict of interest. The true colors will come out.
Yeah.
At least he can wear gold and still be good.
Yeah.
Don said his.
Not a surprise. Hold on, real quick. Not a surprise here, Spidey. I expected you a little tipsy. That.
And water's wet.
Don said his most underrated is Bam Adebayo. He was also asking me earlier why I said that he'd have a 0% chance to win the finals. It's because they have too many overachievers. I mean, when you have Duncan Robinson and who's the other undrafted kid?
Tyler Hero.
No.
I was drafted. No, it's a lefty.
The point guard.
The lefty.
My God.
Kevin Nunn.
Oh,
yeah.
Like when you have those two kids, like that's asking a lot for these kids to kind of pick up the pieces. And they were struggling going into the break. Also, when you talk about really leadership being a big factor, you have Jimmy Butler on that team, and he's your leader. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'll pass on the Heat getting out of the East.
I was confident about Duncan Robinson. I see you, Don. I know why you picked them.
I like Duncan Robinson, but they're not. They don't do it for me.
Mike Parker has a point, by the way. Greg, it's not wet.
What is it then, Spidey? Dry?
It's not.
No, water technically isn't wet. It makes other things wet. I mean, it's
yeah.
Oh, Kendrick Nunn. Sorry, I said Kevin Nunn. Whatever. I was right there.
Hey,
Close.
we all make
closer than I was. You were closer than I was.
Better mistake than you made, not knowing the damn name.
That's right, Ralph.
You struggled too. I don't want to hear no lies.
I came right out. It took me a second, and I got the Nunn. I said lefty right off the bat. I knew where we were at.
It took me a second. You can't say that.
I can say whatever the fuck I want, Ralph.
Let's see.
So I think what we're going to do here, though, moving forward, I think we might save our game the next week and maybe get into because we still got the Phillies over under projections.
Yeah,
To do, and we got the dumbest thing in a week to do.
That's fine.
So
yeah, that's fine.
and then we can.
We've had an hour 45 of Ralph, so we got a lot to choose from.
So instead of we continue b-ball conversation as well. It's great. We love it. You know what I mean? It allows us to save the birds. You know, especially when you get news tonight that first 2 preseason games are now officially canceled. So now what makes you a little. It's got people moving a little bit around in their seat now.
Season tickets kind of getting pulled already too.
Yeah, people are getting a little nervous, and like I said to my buddy who texted me before we came on, like, man, I don't know what I would do without football in the fall. And I said, well, you'll get it if these go off without a hitch, but if these sports pause, then you know your answer.
The NBA was the example for the entire sporting world. They'll do it again. They'll be the example again.
Yep, and he wasn't shy to say we'll shut it down if necessary, not to get doom or gloom. You know what I mean? But he did say like if it gets rampant in the bubble, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? You don't really have a choice there. So if you're running out of players, baseball has a better chance to make it go through. Less contact, more players. You know what I mean? So baseball has a legit opportunity to continue on throughout this process more than any other sport. So, like, to me, I don't think baseball will have any hiccup with this game, with this situation. Not saying guys won't get sick. I'm just saying there's so many guys to choose from. You got 60 guys. You only need how many to play? You know what I mean? And then they even told prospects and other players, other guys in the farm system, stay around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, stay around. Like, guys might get calls of other guys, you know what I mean, to continue to fill spots. So they've been clear with their minor league players about that as well. That's why I think baseball is a no-brainer. They're finishing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They got so many players to freaking choose from. They're finishing it now. And we're going to segue to a little baseball. And listen, if you got NBA questions about the Sixers winning it all or coming out of the East at least, continue to bring them in. And what are your expectations? Can this team go to an Eastern Conference final? Does that save Brett Brown's job? Continue to let us know. Phillies over under projections, Vegas 31.5, 60 games season. We want yours. We want everybody's opinion on that. Did they go over 31.5 or under? Do you think this team comes out and can be a playoff team as well? So thoughts, opinions. Boys, I said over on Sunday. I'm going to stick with it. I think it's over. I think this team can hit. So I'm excited to watch them swing it. I'm excited to finally get my taste of Joe Girardi. I'm finally excited to get my taste of Brian Price, a real pitching coach. I'm excited because listen, said on Sunday, I don't want to repeat myself, but it's a valid point. We were stripped of real baseball here in the city of Philadelphia. We didn't get it under the Gabe Kapler regime, and we finally got it. We finally had it with Girardi. It was a real staff, real baseball guys, and boom, COVID shuts it down, right? And we never got the taste of it. So we were stripped from it right now. So the ability to get this back and get real baseball guy in here, screw Matt Klentak, he's a damn idiot, but a real baseball manager in here, I'm excited for. And I think this team under a real manager, under this little stretch, I think having a veteran manager is important for baseball teams through this little stretch and the adapting of everything. I think this team can win some damn games. Now, granted, they play in the NL East, which is aggressive as shit. You talk about 4 teams, including themselves, that can all win the division. You can pick them out of a hat. And in the AL East, now the Red Sox I don't like as much, but you still got to deal with the Yankees and the Rays. All right, now the rest of the Orioles stink, but you still got to deal with that. So they got a gauntlet in the 60 piece they got coming up here. But I really do believe that they can hit enough, and we're gonna find out how good this staff is. You know what I mean? And then the real question is, when do we get Zach Wheeler? I don't know. So, I mean, that's concerning. You don't know if you're going in this with Zach Wheeler or not, but I still think this baseball team 1-8 can flat out swing it, or 1-9 since they're DH, which you're really going to get Dave Bruce to be able to DH, an experienced guy at it. So I'm excited, boys. What do you guys say?
I'm sorry, I missed the Zach Wheeler. What's going on with Wheeler?
Well, his wife's
is it his kid?
She's
it's around the baby.
Right around the start of the season. Like
okay.
opening day almost. I think she's due.
Yeah. I missed that. I knew she was pregnant, and I knew that was kind of a little bit of his hesitation into what was going on, but I didn't hear that it might delay his start or anything. So
I mean, I think he has every plans on coming after the fact.
Yeah.
right.
You know, one of our guys, Greg, got robbed of his 60-man roster.
Absolutely did.
And I don't want to, I'm not going to bring up names, but he's spoken the big leaguers on the team that were surprised he wasn't on the 60-man.
It's
So,
asinine. It's asinine to think that it's not.
Yeah, like guys who have watched him throw this all season,
Yeah.
legit big leaguers, have said like, oh, "Really, dude? You didn't?"
It's
They were like, "Dude, I can't believe it." And he was pissed. And I don't
I
blame
bet he is. I bet he is.
It's an arm, man. We're talking about arms, and I'll leave it at that. When you talk about arms, when you lack arms and you have a guy who can fit roles,
Especially that type of arm.
Yeah.
And on top of that, when it's going to be even valued more because of how people were saying, because of the tight knit schedule to where the starters aren't going to be pitching as many innings.
Yeah, real quick, Greg, and I'll leave you at this. Asked for a release. They said no.
Interesting.
Are you kidding? Ooh.
Like, it's one thing if you go, all right, we're going to expand to 45 names, 50 names. You can kind of understand where he might get left off. But 60 names, there's no reason why he's left off.
Yeah,
Zero.
I agree.
Crazy.
Like I said, if you had a loaded up situation back there, then I get it. It. But some of the names on the list,
there's nothing loaded back there.
Yeah, some of the names on the list, I'm like, what, dude?
I never heard of this guy.
What are the two most recent injuries? Or one of them was an illness because of Tommy Hunter. The other one, you look at Sir Anthony. So there's two guys that go from quote unquote locks. Now there's big question marks there. So you would think it would push them to bring somebody like this in.
Yeah, it's amazing though. And then said you got to stay around, be ready for a call. So that's how they're doing all these guys. And it's not just that. It's not just one. I mean, it's numerous players around baseball that are in the same situation where getting snubbed per se. And it's part of the business, but not giving the release up is like you can't have your cake and eat it too, honey.
And put me on the damn roster.
Yeah.
To your question, I do say over. Around 35, 36. I don't love that we have to play the Yankees a lot. On top of obviously the Braves and the Nationals, even though I think the Nationals are going to be taking a little bit of a step.
The Mets are loaded. The
Mets are pretty good.
Mets are loaded. Mets might out hit the Braves. I mean, that's how loaded the Mets are. Like the Mets are so underrated, loaded that they can come win it in 60.
Well, you know why they're underrated. Capitalized underrated loaded. It's because I think we all just assume the Mets are going to be the Mets, and by second week they're all going to be hurt again.
Well, you hire a coach, and then Trash Can Gate comes out. And then you got to go in a different direction.
And Thor's already gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mess already. Because Syndergaard's out, right?
I don't know. Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's out.
Well, regardless, they can swing it. They got a pretty good lineup there.
Yeah.
But this whole division, you're right. Go ahead. I mean, the whole division's loaded. And then you got to play Yankees and you got to play the Rays.
Look,
and Poppy Central in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My boy, Vlad Jr.
Vlad Jr.
And they've got the DH. They don't even have to put him. Yeah.
Give me my guy Bo.
Biggio.
I was gonna say your boy Biggio from the draft.
That's why I said Puppy Central.
Yeah. You get a whole former pro pedigree talk on a roster. It's fantastic.
Infield. It's all their infield.
Yeah, what a great GM. You're like, I'm just gonna pick off the pedigree tree. Oh, Daddy Hall of Famer. Yeah, Daddy Hall of Famer. Oh, Daddy Hall of Famer.
Hey, listen. Going back to the draft, we're going to get to see the infamous matchup of Kingery versus Biggio. Going back to the draft.
Okay. I mean, listen, both for the situation, fine picks. He just took him as too early. I waited on mine. Like, mine was late compared to his. You know what I mean? When I went Biggio, I went late. That was just because of age. And I was like, well, he can play right, too. I'll throw him out there.
What's up, TTP?
TTP, baby, we're going. We're going to the finals. Let's go. Healthiest COVID roster on the planet. What do they tell you? Healthiest team wins it all.
What I really, really like, and they were kind of talking about this with McCutchen. So McCutchen So kind of the same thing with Simmons, to where, if everything would have gone as according to plan, we probably wouldn't have seen either of them for a little while, especially McCutcheon, because they were going to take things slow. You hear either it was this morning or last night that he's ready to go fully.
Let's go.
But they aren't going to
stray. We wanted to see them through April. You know what I mean?
True. And they're not going to stray away from giving him some off days, especially with obviously the tight schedule in the field. But now with the DH, you can put him obviously at the DH, so we still get the bat. Also, and I'm just saying this because I love the guy. We all do. We have found an in to get Alec Baum on this roster for two reasons. One, for everyone saying, oh, he doesn't play defense, designated hitter. Two, there's no minor league season. So in the past, when they had the excuse of, oh, well, if we bring him here, he's not going to get playing time like he would in the minors. Nah, it's either he's playing or he's at home on the couch.
And that's the other thing too. People are bringing up Spencer Howard as a possibility of being a part of this 2020 season.
And I was gonna go to that next.
A better chance of being impactful for this roster than Alec Baum because Jay Bruce is gonna DH a ton.
Yeah.
And they have some bats ahead of him, and it's only fair. Like they have veteran bats ahead of him. They have a better chance of DHing.
Right now, Jay Bruce is my. Whether you like it or don't, Jay Bruce is my designated hitter.
Yeah, without injury. Now Spencer Howard has a legit chance of throwing impactful innings for the baseball team.
Absolutely.
They aren't deep when it comes to arms. Now,
especially with Wheeler being a question mark at the beginning.
Because you just gave two DHs. Bruce, obviously, we all talked about. And then you said McCutcheon at times can DH as well. Well, there's two, not even including your bench. You might have Reese DH sometimes. Baum maybe gets some at-bats. Yeah, he might get some pinch hit at-bats. I'm not saying he's never going to get in the bat. Yeah. But, they had meaningful big at-bats, consistently. I don't know. It just depends on injuries. But Spencer Howard absolutely has a chance to throw big innings for his baseball.
This is more or less, and Ryan, you kind of alluded to it with the no minor league season. This is just more or less keeping him around, keeping him getting work so that he doesn't sit at home and just work out on his own, right? Yep. That's all this really is, because you're right. You could go down a list of guys, Neil Walker, right? The other guys that, Josh Harrison, some of these other guys that we brought in.
Talking about Knapp, yeah.
Yeah. Don't ever bring up Andrew Knapp in a real baseball conversation ever again.
He's not going to DH. He can't hit.
But you have other, professional
pop in
options.
That bat, baby.
You have other options to where Bob's just around in case of a major injury, but also just to stay working with the major league guys.
Yeah, exactly. Where Howard has a chance because you're limited there. The impactful.
And a lot of teams are doing that too, Greg, where they're just taking their top prospects and they're just going to bring them on for the ride.
Keep them around.
Yeah.
It can't hurt the kid. It can't hurt him at all.
No, it can't.
No, it can't hurt him. You want him around. Yeah. That's why I'm surprised Moniak didn't get the call, essentially.
Yeah, or even Stott, too.
Yeah, that was weird.
Have him work. Stott maybe not as far along, so I'll give him that one. But Moniak a little further along in the process here.
He's 3 years in, right? He's 3 years into the system.
Yep.
Moniak, yes.
Mickey, right?
Yes.
So for him, maybe just for the 60 man, that's all.
Yeah.
But you can't have
I just thought a college kid, especially middle infielder, might have had you might have seen him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying no shot.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen on the bottom, over under 31.5.
I'm going to take the over on this one.
Amount of games? You have a win total?
Let's see.
Carry the one.
See, I'm trying to figure out where this team is at right now, especially when you factor in Zach Wheeler and especially the lack of back of the pen stuff, not addressing the off season. For me, I'm gonna say we will get.
Careful.
I'm gonna say 37.
Got it. Final answer.
Yes.
Final answer,
I'm super excited for it to be back, but I'm gonna go under. I think they're right at the number. Like I see him at 30-31, so not far off. But I just with the division that we're in and we're up against, even just our own division, we have a lot of good teams in there. And I just without the we don't know what Jake Arrieta we're getting. We hope we're getting the good side. How long is Wheeler out? Yes, we can hit, but we also know that Hoskins ended the year bad, right? So we've seen. Bryce went through a time, especially early on, where he wasn't great. So we've seen these guys that we hope to carry them go through stretches of down. I'm not saying they're going to be down, but we've seen it to where I'm right at the number. So I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm like 40, 41.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I think they're going to surprise some teams. They always play good right off the jump.
I hope so.
I'm going to carry it. They play well right out Jump Street. They come out hot.
You hit on the head when you said we got a real baseball guy where everyone's jacked up and I'm with it. You know what I mean? There's other factors that I don't know yet.
Listen to me, Ryan. Can you give me the full screen?
Oh boy,
it's important. It's a public service announcement. We sat through 100-something days, Greg. 100-something days and nothing. Circling back, we were so close to food reviews at one point. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was getting. All right, we don't want to get there. Okay, now we have some hope. A sport's coming back. A team that a sport that we love, like you just said. Right? We get a real manager in here, a real pitching coach. We have legit talent on this roster, and you're gonna go after all these days under 31, and not if you don't have hope today. I can never instill it in you. I can never make you a hope guy. The fry.
Just checking in. Continue. Just checking in.
Listen to the family out there. If you're not saying over 31, if you don't believe that this team can be a playoff team, then check your pulse today, please. This is all about excitement. The Have Sports Back's all about excitement. And when you talk about the three teams coming back here in the city of Philadelphia, they're all teams that can do some things, right? They're all teams that have talent. When we talk about the Flyers, we think they can make a run. When we talk about the Sixers, we think they can make a run. Well, you know what? When I'm going to talk about baseball and I'm going to talk about the money spent on this damn roster, I'm going to say they can make a run. And for anybody going to 31 tonight is a shame. All right, because I don't know what you did over the 100 days. You must have watched 1,000 episodes of NCIS. All right, now you're double watching. You're a flat out issue, okay? And you have no hope. You're never going to be a hope guy. And it continues. I thought maybe these 100 days would change you. And what we've learned is you're the same guy. And nothing will. Nothing will. So mask up and shut the hell up. I'm done.
I'm just trying to be real.
It's not the time. Save it
They're
for
going 60-0. 60-0.
Just say the first week of the season, you can start being real again.
Say it louder, Greg.
60-0.
America!
Don't say it louder because now you're waking up, Landon, and I get the text.
I'm sorry, Len.
No. Have you heard me do shows in there? I think the neighbors hear me at times. So don't worry. Yell away. Don't be shy. Water's warm in that house.
Couple walk-ins.
I just, that's all. I'm messing with you. I get the whole basis behind it, but we need hope today.
You're being divisive.
Everybody was over, so I wouldn't go under.
Listen, you can hammer the first game in. You know what I mean? You get boat race. You can do a video smoking them, and I approve it. Okay, because we have it back. But until then, I don't want to hear nothing negative.
We're 35 games.
I was talking to my buddy Rome the other day, and he said, "Man, I just miss bitching about the Sixers." And I said, "What I would do to have it back?
Yeah.
What I would do is to bitch and moan. This guy doesn't shoot. This son of a bitch still won't shoot. You know what I mean? Like, I would die to have it back. I would die to bitch about Harper being overrated. I would die. I would love to say this Crumb's overrated. We spent too much money on that beautiful hair. All right? I would love to be able to rip him to shreds. I would love to be able to crush Reese if he can't get it together with a real manager in here. These are my guys. Harper, Reese, my guys. But if I got, I miss the days I'm keeping it.
You're absolutely right.
Today's not the day to keep it real. Today's the day to say playoff or bust.
Playoffs.
Let's go.
Yes, Don, you're right. They did have 19 wins through 60 games.
No, but I do believe what I'm saying, though. I do believe that they can win 39-41 in that range. They had the talent to do it. If Harper's hot for 60, they can absolutely do it.
There's no question.
It all depends because he can carry you for a minute. So can other guys. Segura looks in great shape. We didn't even talk about him in his balls. We brought Bryson fucking Scott. We didn't even talk about one of our starting guys and Gene Segura, who looks great. Looks like the transition to third's going to be glorious, right?
And he looked good at third. Yeah, I was about to say that. He looked good at third.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about Didi. I mean, this team is good. It's a good baseball team. Scott Kingery goes to a real position at second base. You look around it. Greg, this isn't the time. We can hit. Let's go eat. Let's go eat a little bit.
And what's the common theme the last 2 seasons with a horrible head coach or a manager in Gabe Kaplan? They started
off the second half.
He doesn't trust his starting pitching.
They started off slow, got hot, then stunk in August and September.
So maybe it helps that they don't have a long season.
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row.
I'm excited. Greg's not. Dumbest thing in a week. Maybe Greg. No.
Greg.
Well, it's not. It's close. Ralph, go ahead.
My dumbest thing in a week is
what you have one this time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You got one.
My dumbest thing of the week is what CBS put out, 2 days ago with the top 10 coaches. Ridiculous. Doug Peterson is all the way at the bottom. Second year in the league, wins the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. But Sean McVay, real quick, he's 2-0 against Sean McVay. Okay? Smoked the big time.
Ralph, it's not even close, okay? It's not even close. And Steppy down there, I see him smirking, okay? This guy's a top 3 coach in the NFL. And the fact that he doesn't on top 3 on that list is disgusting. It's disgraceful. Stop covering professional football, please.
I'll go one step ahead of you. Not only should Doug Peterson be a lock top 3, maybe top 5 at the worst, Sean McVay's not a top 10. He should be nowhere on that list. Nowhere on the list. I don't care. He had the freaking dream team the last 2.5, 3 seasons. The dream team. Spent everything all over the place. They bankrupted that organization where now they have to literally shoehorn every person to go off their roster to pay freaking Jalen Ramsey, who doesn't even want to be there. They had the dream team, and they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. Right?
Yep.
And didn't even think once, I understand Todd Gurley has a bad knee, but we'll sacrifice the knee because we're in, I don't know, the freaking Super Bowl, and then tried to lie the entire summer and say he was 100%. So you're a liar, and you're also not the smartest person in the room. Come on now. Ralphie, the only thing that was worse than that list was the guy the next day doing a podcast or a little Twitter video explaining why he had the list like he had it. It was somehow worse.
I'm sure that was riveting.
Yeah, he said that he doesn't want to equate win-loss and success into his rankings. The most important things in sports. Yeah,
that's how you do rankings, though.
Well, I mean, we listened to a show last night that was comparing Saquon Barkley and Adrian Peterson.
Speaking of, thank you, Greg. Do we share this one?
No. I just said let's throw numbers out when we're doing rankings.
Oh, well, no, because Greg, I mean, if you want to share with me, that's fine. That's my dumbest thing of the week. I will be divisive. I will go with friendly fire. My dumbest thing of the week was Chuck Moranen's list. And it's not even it might be the dumbest thing of the month because it's a combined. It's a 2-for-1 special. Because I didn't see it in person last week when they were doing the quarterbacks and this. And for anybody who missed it, I mean, it was so bad. People were asking me last night if it was somehow worse than Ralphie's top 5 offenses and defenses list. That's how bad it got. And it's not just about the fact that he was trying to say Saquon Barkley is a top 3 running back since the year 2000 when the guy's been in the league for 2 seasons and missed half of one of them, and he was not even on the field.
Yeah.
It's about that he – and Chucks, if you're listening, debate me all you want. I don't think you're watching, though. At the end of the day, when you make lists and he says he doesn't factor in health or stats. So let me get this straight.
So what are you factoring in?
Raw talent, which sure, let's play. If we're not factoring in
Hold
health,
on, then do the most raw-talented running back. So Boobie Miles, the original one, would be on the list, as we're talking about raw talent, right? You know what I mean? Like, so shut the fuck up, okay? Then you got to change the way you do your shit. Then you got to say, oh, we're going to do the most rawest running backs because we like it raw dog, okay? Or how about you do it the right way? Sorry, just had it.
No, I agree. Number one, he had him above Adrian Peterson, which is ridiculous. Number two, if we're not equating health, then okay, if health was just a facade, a mirage, it didn't exist. It was an epiphany. It doesn't exist. It's just fairy dust. It's nothing. Then the Eagles would have beat the Seahawks in the playoffs last year because Carson would have still been there. Carson would have been the MVP in 2017. Andrew Luck would still be on the Colts. Shall I continue? And that's just Joel Embiid would probably be the MVP every year. The Sixers probably have 2 titles. Shall I continue? If health wasn't a factor, sports wouldn't be sports.
That's pretty important factor.
I thought so.
My dumbest
all right,
thing
Chucks.
Colin Coward, and it's supposed to be out on A2D, and it might be more than it's only about 5 days. It's only about 560, so it still fits in the dumbest thing of the week. And it's his top 5 arm talents from Mr. Flip Flop himself. Okay, I'm good with Russell Wilson being on your list. I'm not gonna say I'm agree with him 1. I'll just agree with him being on your list. Tom Brady at this point of his career is a flat out freaking joke. Can we knock it off? Thank you. Off the list. Drew Brees at this point of his career has no right being on that list. As best arm talents, grow up, get him off the list. Kyler Murray, okay, I see where you're going. All right, maybe you want to toss him 5. Maybe I'll buy it a little bit. Maybe Jared Goff, get him the hell off the list. Okay, the fact that you don't have Patrick Mahomes on the list, it should be an automatic. I shouldn't even have to say it. Nobody should have to say it. But then 2, you don't have Carson Wentz on the list, and not because of an Eagles bias, because you're talking about arm talents, right? The fact that you don't have Aaron Rodgers on your list, but you have Drew Brees and Tom Brady at this point in his career is a flat-out joke. Okay, so I just gave you 3 names that absolutely need to be on this list, and that's no homerism or bias. What I'm saying, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, Patrick Mahomes. All 3 should be on this list over Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Jared Goff. Okay? Russell Wilson, great arm talent. Leave him. Kyler Murray, I get it. You can make arguments for the other 5th guy. Go right ahead. That's fine. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to get into the 3 son of a bitches. If we're talking about arm talents, that are probably the 3 best arm talents in the league, to go with Russell Wilson. What the hell is wrong with this guy sometimes? He blows Carson one day, and now he's not one of the top 5 arm talents. He just talked about how great of an arm talent he was. I talked about it. Numerous guys have talked about how great of an arm talent he was. Did he miss the throw to Miles in Washington? Did he miss it? Do we need to show him a replay? The producers do that for hosts still? Did they put all the notes in front of them? Because it doesn't seem like they did on this one. I don't understand your agenda. Okay, what are you trying to make? Friends with Brady and Breeze? Did you say something wrong? Because they have no right at this point in their career being the best arm talents. This isn't the conversation of how good of a quarterback they are. It's a conversation of how good the damn arm is.
Don, I agree. Matt Stafford's there too.
I also agree with that.
Matt Stafford should be over Kyler Murray. So there's your 5. There's your 5. And you can't tell me Carson Wentz isn't like in the top 5. You want to put him 5th, fine. Put him 5th.
That's like his second. That's to Jay's point. He says, he hated the Eagles so much last year. Now he loves them. Carson Wentz is like his second son. He can't stop talking about Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
but then he doesn't put him in the top 5.
Yeah, that's why it's so confusing. I don't usually have to rip Colin when it comes to the Eagles. You know what I mean? Yeah. Colin's pretty good when it comes to the Eagles. I think he's pretty fair. But this isn't about just the Eagles. This is about all the names you left off the list. I don't know what you're doing. Like, Stafford's a great name. Love Stafford. So take Coward out right now because Stafford's a better arm talent right now. All right? You talk about zip, man. You don't give guys a mulligan because they're 5'9". You know what I mean? I'm talking about zip. I mean,
might as well put freaking Cam Newton on that list. You know what I'm saying? Because
you're right.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You're talking about big arms, right? Right? Like just use that like Cam. Like I want to put Cam on it, but I hear you over these goddamn names.
I'm saying because of the ridiculous, nature where he put Breeze and Brady, I'm surprised he didn't put Cam because Cam throws a dead football. That's my point. To where if he was going in ridiculous territory, you might as well have put Cam in there. You know what I'm saying? Or freaking Phillip Rivers, people who right now they're throwing a dead football.
Drew Brees the same way. Like Drew Brees the same way. Brady same way. They don't have the same zip like they used to, and rightfully so. I even said the other day, like, a guy who throws the football, who's got some zip and got a good arm and doesn't get credit for it because he's such a runner, like Lamar can spin it too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like, he don't throw, he's not throwing, he's not lollipopping.
A guy who has a really good arm, not necessarily accuracy, but also Josh Allen. He can throw the ball so freaking far. It's not accurate, but arm talent.
Dwayne Haskins got a big arm. Daniel Jones got a big arm. Yeah. I mean, there's guys out there that like legitimately have big arms.
Derek Carr. Dak
Prescott has a better arm at this point in his career than Drew Brees does. Yeah. Can we wake up? You know what I mean? I'm not grounding. We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that next week. But you know what I mean? Like, there's so many better arm talents at this point than the names you put on. It's mind-boggling. I don't understand the basis. Maybe I got to go listen to the whole fucking show again because this was a crock of shit. But that was mine.
Frank?
Well, I got two for my dumbest thing of the week. The first one I award to the NHL Draft Lottery for awarding the mystery team, which could be a number 5 seed in the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers, a chance for the number 1 pick.
That's not shocking at all.
I know.
It's typical Pittsburgh, right? You start the decline, and then, we'll go ahead and give you the number 1 overall pick.
It's like happened in Cleveland when LeBron left. Yeah. We're going to hand you the 1. You just fucked it up with Anthony Bennett.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. The fact that, a team that is in the hunt for the playoffs is going to get the number 1 overall pick is just – it's mind-blowing. It's – I couldn't believe it as I was watching the whole thing live. And to even think that it might be Pittsburgh, it might be Edmonton again. It'll be like the 5th time in 8 years that they get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, how many times are you going to keep giving it out?
And they still stink. And they still stink.
But imagine Lafreniere and McDavid and Drysdale.
3 out of 4 years. Real quick. 3 out of 4 years they got the number 1 pick and didn't do shit with them.
Well, I mean,
still stink.
I mean, two of them are still on the team. You still have Bryant Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid. Those were the only 2 picks that kind of panned out for them. Now Yakupov didn't do much. And Taylor Hall, he's now in Arizona, and he could be in a different uniform.
What do they have Colangelo drafting for him?
His wife.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Eric Jr. Yeah, the bird.
Eric Jr.
Sorry, Don. Says how y'all think us Red Wings fans.
Yeah.
Hey, you just hate to see it sometimes.
I mean, it even sucks if you're an Ottawa fan because you had 2 chances of getting the number 1 pick and you failed to get any of the top.
Screw them. I mean, ever since that brawl in freaking 2002, I had to screw them.
All right. Wow. My second one. Yeah, my second one, I'm going to go with a player from the Australian Football League. This was popping up on my Twitter. Steele Sidebottom. There's a player for the Collingwood Football Club in the Aussie Rules Football League, and he got suspended for 4 matches for breaching COVID-19 protocols as their league is starting to restart. And what happened was Mr. Sidebottom had a very, very rough night on the town, which involved
this
drinking.
This isn't a real person. This is not a real
person.
He's
real. He's real. He drank a ton of beer. He was hanging out with some injured teammates and past teammates until 7:30 in the morning, where he went back home in a cop car.
Well done.
Yeah, so he's facing he doesn't regret any of it whatsoever, and he just wanted to take a 4-match ban just so we could just get this whole thing over with. So that's my other dumb thing of the week.
He made a public statement saying he doesn't regret any of it.
No regrets.
Is he saying it was a fun night or something? I mean, what is he?
Oh yeah, it was a fun night. I mean, he was out partying until 7:30 in the morning. What else can you ask for?
Ralphie's never seen 7:30 in the morning ever, has you? Have you, Ralph?
What?
Cocaine and hookers. You know what I mean? The guy was like, "What are my regrets?"
Ralph, 7:30 in the morning is when the sun is it's
Yeah, I'm
early.
going to bed when it's coming up, right?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
He knows when it's coming. Right. He's there.
Just for the opposite reason.
It's been my tea time the last 3 Tuesdays until this week when I'm back home here.
Nobody forced you.
Yeah, nobody forced you, Greg. Jesus Christ.
Where you're at, honey.
Woe is me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my work forced me, so.
Let's all feel bad for Greg.
Before I get into it, just real quick, got a couple stats. 2018, 32 and 28. 2019, 33 and 27.
Okay,
that is the Phillies at 60 games.
Both over. Giddy up.
So there we go, and that's what a moron.
Yeah, and a better team.
Yeah.
So you're still saying under, Greg?
I'm back.
Okay.
Let's go!
We're going over.
Let's go.
We're going over.
That's also without McCutcheon, by the way. That's also without McCutcheon.
Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew. See, I knew that shirt changed you. You're a new man.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, give him a little bit, Ralph. He's back. Full circle.
I love it.
Outside of everything that Ralph said today,
which was nothing.
Well, that's why it's the dumbest thing of the week, because it was a whole bunch of nothing.
Circle jerk.
Anything that comes out of the mouth of Matt Klentak and our wonderful governor. But we're gonna go Matt Klentak. We're gonna handle on that one. I don't see where playing the public game negotiation with JT Real Muto is a good option here.
With one of the best catchers in baseball, if not the best.
Shut your mouth and sign the deal.
Yeah, please.
Right? Stop playing. I understand. We're starting back up, and people are asking questions. I get it. You know what I mean? I understand that whole realm of things, but just say, hey, we're working on it, and we hope to get something accomplished here soon. You know what I mean? Like, play the Ruben tomorrow, where you give us nothing. I'd rather have that than do this. Well, we gotta take a look at the situation now. Things have changed. Yeah, no shit. He's the best catcher in baseball. Sign him.
Yeah, and your best player
about it.
And your best player, who you gave a 13-year deal to and a boatload of money, has got to wear a jersey around to try to prove a point.
Yeah.
And make public statements about signing them. So
and look at what you did. Look what you did.
He'll get signed here, because there's no way Harper doesn't get it done.
Agreed.
Nah.
But
look at what we did. Look at what we gave up to get him too. I mean, I'm not saying Alfaro and
I love Alfaro. You know that.
I mean, they're not lock superstars, but it's talking about where they were ranked in our farm.
We gave up a lot of potential, though. You know what I mean?
Two top prospects in the farm we gave up for him. Now, just in general, this is his final year, correct, on his deal?
Yes.
So if you don't get it done, he's a free agent. He can go wherever he wants.
And I swear to God, I don't know what it's the same thing. It's something it must be something in the air over there in the stadium complex with Roseman and Klentak, to where they're the same people in an aspect to where they feel like they have to overthink or outthink the room. They have to get cute. They have to be, they got to strike a deal.
That's what happens when you're a nerd. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, you're spot on. Like, there's nothing wrong with finding good players, acquiring them, and then keeping them for a very long time. You don't have to be like, we're going to do it on our terms, and we're going to find a diamond in the rough. No. Can he hit? Can he catch? Can he play defense? Is he a good guy? Is he an adult? Okay, you are all of those things and probably the best player at your position. Okay, we're going to give you a contract. It's pretty simple. It's not.
And the numbers that are coming out, the 23 to 26, they're a little high for what I would prefer, but the years are right where we want. So I'm good. I'm good with the money because of the years are there.
I'm okay with it because of the universal DH that's going to be in effect soon,
and that too. That as well. Yeah.
So I'm okay with if I'm paying a little bit much and people worry about the knees and all that. I'm still good there. But
and that also comes back to help Harper too down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's it.
All right, boys. Another great show tonight.
Absolutely.
Next week, we'll see where we're at. But obviously, we're going to get into the Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott little game we wanted to play tonight. So we'll carry that into next week. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a fun one. We just want to give it more time than I think we would have been able to give it tonight and really allow for it, because I think there's going to be a lot of arguments and have a lot of excitement on that one. And we want all you cowboy cocksucker roaches to come in here and enjoy it. Enjoy it. All right? That's all I'm going to say about it. Enjoy. But we want to thank our doc for bringing, great service to us every Wednesday night and bringing great service to you as well. Located in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. That's Dr. Paul Waddell, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington. We already said that one. So used to saying it after I switched it up on that, and I have see that. Yeah,
It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes.
Shut the fuck up, Ralph. Ralph, for all your deck for all your deck restorations, gutter guards, everything outside your house, really. I mean, I already called Mike and said, listen, I need a lot of shit done. All right, so I don't know where to start. I'll put a list together, but give them a call. Ambuck Services, AMBUCK services.com, 20% off. All you got to do is say the boys from A2D sent you. Yeah, Don, tell them Michigan State sucks. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, fam. We love all you guys. You guys make the show. Youssef, love to get you on with us next week when we're actually talking football again. All right? So I know you wanted to come on this week. I believe it was, or it might have been next week. I don't even freaking know. Every day runs together. I'm sure it runs together for you guys. Continue to be safe out there, fam. And listen, sports are right around the block. Happy Canada Day. Yep, and coming through clutch for the NHL restart or the Canadians on Canada Day. So convenient, right, for the Canadians to pull this shit off. Great syrup. We know the things they bring to the table up there. The French Canadians are assholes, but that's a story for another day. We don't have the time for that. But, guys, thank you all for listening. Stay tuned, obviously. Shows every day here on A2D Radio. We love you all. For Tom Arnone, Ryan Brodo, Ralph Del Vecchio, Greg Mwakovic, Frank Vespi, and all you joining. Like, subscribe, follow. You know the deal. Share away. We out.
Go Lakers.
Fuck you.